Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late. Yeah, it seems like I've been late a lot lately, which I don't like. But here we are. I made it. Glad to see everyone here. Let's see what we got. Who's in the house today? We got Graz and Mustus Pustus. Good to see you guys. We got Alejandro. Good to see you. We got Tucson ready here to start some crap. Bob Sales. Good to see you, of course. Scar. Good to see you. Big A. It's good to see everyone. Let's see, we've got Big A saying, let's see here, man, it sucks opening Twitter and seeing all the projects pumping. Well, VeVe looks like it keeps dying. We got Troy. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. First in your own mind. So, no, good to see you. Glad you could be here. Glad everyone could be here. What the heck is going on, guys, with this comic here? Not a bad comic. In fact, I had let's see if I pull this up. This is gonna be harder to share, but I had the real world value on this thing, and basically a 9.8 is 28,000, 9.6 is it's 13,500. Don't know if that matters. Either way, yeah, $10. You know what? I screwed up on my thing. I put 10,000 on my Minty Fresh numbers. God, I got to get better at this, guys. Watch this. Here you go. There you go, guys. So there's the Minty Fresh numbers. I'm going to hold those up there for a second so you guys can look at them. If you can even read them, I'm so blind I can't even see them. But yeah, there's a lot going on in there. I took an old one that I found, so I've got the movies and everything. Scrap the 10,000. It's 7,500. So, which actually makes it a little bit better in my mind to have it 7,500. I don't know why I had 10,000 on there. Stupid mistake. So remember, last mint is 10,000. Let's put up the poll. Let's see what everyone else is going to do, because I think that's important. It helps me decide if I'm going to go for it. Wasn't sure, but now that we're here, I'm trying to find actually where the poll button is. I'll find that here in a second. It's not showing up. Very strange. But anyways, good to see everyone. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with pricing. I saw my collectibles talking about it. He also thinks we should just stick with $6.99. He was saying, the most recent one we just had is actually more valuable than this. And of course, we saw how that went. So being 7,500, yikes. I mean, it's definitely going to go under retail for those common, uncommons, and I even think rares, but I could be wrong. Shawnee Poo, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing okay. I haven't seen you on there. Hopefully you're feeling okay. I know you weren't feeling good. Was it last week? So yeah, definitely hope you're feeling okay. So yeah, Big A, I wish we could see a pump. Yeah, the value of these things really doesn't matter. But this is just crazy that they keep going up and down with these $10 values. Here we go. Now I found it. I'm slow today. So let's see who is going for X-Men 14 comic today. So let's see what everyone thinks. If you're going to go, I don't know. We've got 10 minutes to join the wait list. Maybe I will. Obviously get that secret rare would be good. Of course, that's not going to happen, right? That doesn't happen very often. But I mean, I guess you could go for that at ultra rare. You'll make some gems. So you probably figure it out. G43, good to see you. This comic could suffer with all the attention around Lambo, Mighty's, Carnage, and Venom. I mean, very good point, right? Like, I don't think either. I don't know how many new people are here, but people haven't really had to deal with a what we call a gem crunch in a while. I can tell you, it is hard as heck to sell anything. I mean, I sold a few things and I just gave them away. Knowing I gave them away, I was still at profit, so I was okay with it. But yeah, maybe people are going to save money. We do have the Lambos, 70 a piece, which is really cool. I think they got it. Finally, they got it right. I don't like the mint sizes on the other ones, but they got the mint size right on the secret rare at 120, and they're taking 40 of them. So they did say that in the article. They're going to take 40 of them. So, man, people are going to be going for those secret rares. They should be fairly valuable, not financial advice, but yeah, I would definitely like it. And here we go. Tucson, it's always good to wake up to you because I mean, without you, there'd be, no intelligence in the whole world. So thank you for your knowledge and compliments, all that stuff. It's great to have you here. Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see. Musses Busses thinks this is going to be the secret will be under 90. That's probably about right. Do you think the Star Wars comic will be low risk because of the free poster? Yeah, I mean, the posters is a good idea. And again, I mean, good for VeVe to keep things interesting. I'll give them that. They're kind of, sometimes a little slow on things like we saw the other day, but it looks like they're trying to get things moving here, trying different things, mint sizes and stuff. So I certainly think it's less risky. I don't. It feels like everything's risky on VeVe these days. But if you're collecting, it doesn't even really matter. But maybe you get things in the aftermarket. That might be your best bet. A big A saying for hype would be nice if VeVe did a high-end low mint drop where it would be guaranteed gems if you land. Yeah, I agree. I mean, think of it. Just to give you an example, imagine Wolverine, right? A Wolverine collectible with only 600 editions or 500. It would do pretty well. Even if they charge 70 gems, I'd rather have it keep it a low edition size and see what happens. So, guys, thank you for dropping by. Hit that like button. We've got about 8 minutes until you can join the wait list. I've got my tablet here so I can snipe. Let's see if this even works here because I direct connected again. That is a big thing. And remember, if you're sniping, make sure that you go in. Oh, I got to turn off Wi-Fi. Make sure you go into your actual profile in your VeVe app. All right, go into the profile and delete. Like if you've played any, or use your AR or any of that stuff, it adds a little or takes a little memory out on the app. So if you go in, I'm on. Just go into your profile. I'm doing it right now myself. Go into settings, and it will say under personal details. It'll say my files. Click that. I've got 12.6 megabytes, but I'm still just going to remove it to give you a little extra. Clear the cache on your tablet if you believe in that. And you should be good to go. So I'm going to put that up there for now. Yes, that's right. If we did anything big on VeVe, it would bring back the bots. Wolverine with Miles mint numbers would be, yes, absolutely. Hey, Raven, good to see you. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Interesting enough, if we look at the poll, it doesn't look like many people are going to go for it. 33% say yes, 67 say no. So I mean, maybe this is the protest we make. I'm not saying to protest, but obviously the buyer decides what the value of these things are if it's worth 10 or $6.99. I think they should stick with $6.99. I think they should have probably done 6,000 on this. Again, a $28,000 real world value, if that even matters any to you. I don't know. I don't think that's going to help this. We've had $1 million comics that haven't done great on even like DC, so, or hundreds of thousands. So we'll have to see. All right, bots equals money. Yeah, we'll definitely have bots. And you can read Tucson's stuff and answer in your brain if you want to. All right, just real quick on the minty fresh numbers. And real quick, yeah, Captain Obvious, good to see you. Here to support the fam. It's a skip. So I think a lot of people are going to skip, and I may just go for it in the market. Just go snipe the common, so I can hit my desk and break it because one of these days it's break. But this thing is solid. This desk it's ugly, but it was from my grandmother, and this thing weighs like 300 pounds. So I don't know if I can break it, but I'd like to try. Good morning, BE. Tucson is the best dictator on VeVe YouTube live streams. Exactly. All right, so quickly go over the mint numbers in case you have no clue what's going on. Remember, this is 7,500. It is not 10,000. Let me get a little prettier picture on there. Let's see. All right, so we got minty fresh numbers. The first mint's going to be 176. Look for 616. 1901 is Walt's birthday. 1922 is Stan Lee's birthday. 1923 is the birth of Disney Corporation. 1939 is Timely Comics, which of course is the predecessor to Marvel. 1963 is when X-Men starts. This is 1965 for this comic. Then we got the movies, X-Men 2000, X2 2003. All the movies, as you can see, you can decide if they're worth it. Honestly, the only one I might pay extra for, and this is a might, would be the first X-Men movie. All these other ones, if you can get them at floor, you should be able to flip them for a few gems, a few extra gems. I don't know how much more in this mark and the way things are. If nothing's great, 2023 would be a good one, and not 10,000. 7,500 as the last mint would be a good one to look for. All right, guys, I had to make that large so I could read it. So any comments that came in, I didn't see. Let's see. All right. God, Tucson, you drive me nuts, but I love you. If you guys are rich and you want to donate, you can see I got the Botrix crap going off, or you've got these codes on here. I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you want to donate, I'll put it towards some stuff on the channel, but no big deal. If not, let's get back to the comic. I'm going to go ahead and let's share this. I mean, the secret rare is okay. Certainly wouldn't mind getting it. Obviously, I really think the ultra rares normally kill it as far as looking the best, colorful and everything. I'm not big on the rares. I'm not big on the uncommons. Oh, this one actually isn't that bad. I like the way the color is. And I think it's always a good bet on the commons. Like if I was going to stack something, it certainly wouldn't be things like the secret rare and stuff. Obviously, these are inexpensive. So you can stack them if you want. I don't know if this would be one I'd be stacking. I will say that the prices, my Lord, I was looking at the comics. There are comics. I mean, I was selling comics for like $1.20 just to undercut people by 15 cents. So there are some cheap comics out there. So you might want to go look at mint sizes to decide if it's worth stacking those. But there's some good deals, and just noticing the people buying it from me. I mean, these are big collectors, good collectors. Obviously, they probably made a lot of money, a year and a half ago. So they can buy these and just start buying the floor out, maybe to burn or whatever. So I'm not going to say which ones you should go for, but just go in and check. I would say at, probably $1.20, $1.50 or less, whatever, $1.25. If you could find one that you like, maybe stack them. Not financial advice, but it might be a good play. All right, guys, we've got a few minutes until you can join the waitlist. You probably don't have to join the waitlist right away, but I will. So let's see here. You've got about a minute and 15 seconds. So, join the waitlist if you want to. I always like joining the waitlist just in case I do want to go for it. And I may risk it and go for one of these. All right, so X-Men, Sentinels, we've got 37% saying they're going to go for it, 63% no. So normally in my book, that means it's not gonna do well. I don't think it's gonna sell out. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to do this to make money, this is probably not the one to do it. So just real quick too, let's go over what's going to be happening on VeVe, and you guys should go check out Dr. Strange's channel. See if you should be stacking or slacking. He did one on the Star Wars. This is going to be an interesting one because they are going to be doing posters with these. And actually, I don't know the whole mechanics. I think you just, whichever one you get, you're going to get a poster. So that's going to make it interesting. 10 gems. I mean, definitely a gimmick like that, giving us posters, would be nice. So I don't know, maybe you guys know in the chat exactly the mechanics. I actually had some issues last night I had to take care of, and haven't had much time to check into this, but we have a week, I think, until this comes out. And then of course, this weekend, we've got another Lambo. This actually, I wish came out earlier because I think this is really nice. I really like this. By the way, guys, you can join the wait list. Always remember, when you come here, you'll get that announcement 30 seconds after it happens, but it doesn't matter. You can join the wait list for the next 25 minutes. So join that wait list if you want to. We got a few more people going for 40, 60. But anyways, I really like this. It's definitely nice looking. 70 gems, way too much, in my opinion. IMO. 1,200. I mean, I'm just looking at these edition sizes. 1,200, 3,100, and then another, whatever, 4,000, and then 120. Now they're only keeping 40 of these because it says down here, I read it. All the other, where did I read it? I read all the other ones that they were going to keep. Right here, 90 editions, rare to ultra rare, and only 40 editions of the secret rare. So, oh my God, if you land that, I think you're going to be doing well. I think if you land any of these other ones, yikes. I don't know what these are going to end up at. I would look at some past sales of these and assume it's going to be somewhere thereabouts. I got to check the mints on the last one, see how high they are. I mean, there's just a lot of these. But there's some good mints to go. And so if you really like this is probably one to get in the aftermarket unless you want to risk it for that secret rare. But man, that's going to be super hard. So not probably going to happen for me. All right, so here we go. You only get the poster if you purchase it from the store. So I'm curious how well the drop will do. Okay, so I think that's smart. I think that's a good way for VeVe to do it. They should do things that force us to think. So I appreciate them doing that. And that is going to get people on the, and he's talking about the Jedi comic, Return of the Jedi comic. So that's good. So if you have to buy it in the store to get it, and it's 10 gems, I think people are going to do it. What was it, 6,800, something like that. I don't know, maybe it'll do well. I think it certainly reduces the risk that you're going to be getting a poster. Probably neither one will be worth much except for the ultra rare and the secret rare, but we'll find out. All right, so let's get back to the comic today, and then we can talk about some of the other stuff, because obviously we do have this whole crazy thing and Carnage. I mean, this is an interesting thing because I mean, you got to realize people have given up on the Mighties, so they're trying to bring them back. And we've got this stuff. We're going to get these characters. Obviously, we're going to want Carnage. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to find out. But interesting. 15 gems. They raised the price on these. Not sure how they're going to do. I do know that people will manipulate the market though, because there's going to be some type of crafting. So. We can talk about that a little bit later. We'll go back to this one. And yeah, so right now we've got a few votes here. 36% are going to be going for it, and 64% are not. So again, if you're using that as a gauge, probably not a good one. Let's see here. Neem K, thank you for dropping by. Noah, good to see you. Thank you for dropping by. He's saying Venom drop would have been perfect for MCP. Another ball drop by VeVe. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, not only do we have MCP. Yeah, and by the way, guys, if you don't mind, hit that like button. I always appreciate it. And it helps me out a little bit. Or hit the dislike. That actually helps me out too. Any interaction, I appreciate. Yeah, hold on. I just lost my train of thought here. But yeah, I do think I'm interested in the desk. Like, what's going on with this desk? I did see that they tweeted that they are going to announce something soon about it. I saw that on a VeVe tweet in an answer to somebody else. So hopefully we find out soon what's going on with the desk. It certainly makes me curious what's going to happen. I have no clue what's going to happen, but I am definitely curious. Let's see. Troy Carthy saying, hey, they use the uncommons as the gatekeeper pieces of those Mighties. I mean, whatever they're gonna do. I mean, it's at least they're trying to keep things interesting. I can't, we're not gonna love everything they do, right? Like we just can't. That's just not gonna happen. Somebody's gonna always be unhappy. But they're trying. I'll give them that. I'll give them that they're trying to keep this interesting. But they need something here that's gonna really change things up, because like Big A's saying, and other people, we're seeing some other projects kind of pump a little bit. I did notice in the market prices were coming up a little bit, so maybe there is a little pump coming. Alrighty. Oh yeah, and then I did see Randy. If you didn't see his tweet, he basically had an orgasm over the over the Mighties. So and he was willing to sell his soul for all of them. I don't know. I mean, obviously he must have some money. He really likes stacking this stuff. And, I love that he loves this project and he's all in. So if he has the money to do what he's doing, great. And if he loves them, that's even better. But, don't follow somebody like that and do what they do, because if you don't have the kind of money that maybe he has, you could lose big. It's not somebody to do that. All right, so Two Silence pull up one of his comments. They need to bring normal consumers into the market and not a small group of goofballs. Yes, I agree. They do not need to have dorks like me out in this. But what they do need, and I think they have it, is the fact that you can use fiat to buy these. You don't need crypto. and big names. So they could bring in big people. So we'll have to see what happens. A pump coming for VeVe. I know, right? Maybe not. I'm glad I didn't see that. Yeah, I know, right? All the Guile comics already dropped. It's just stacking time. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely good deals. If you are good, $500 gets you a lot of money. It does. It definitely does. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of good comics out there. Grail, I think because of the mint sizes, people are freaking out. And yeah, so those might, you might be looking out just for, some of those original ones. I'd say if you could get like, a 4-digit, 999 or less, might be worth it, because some of them had 60,000. So I'd still be looking for a low price and as low of a mint you can get. And I'd say if something's, let's say 10 gems, and I don't know what Spider-Man 1 is at right now, but let's say it was at 10, and you could get one that's 20 at 20,000 mint, or for 2 gems more, you can get a 4-digit mint. I would probably try to get the lower mint, and it just makes it easier to sell in the future. So keep that in mind. Yeah, and Randy is spending all of his money on VeVe, which is fine if he believes in it. If you believe in it, I know people who do that project. That's just not a smart way to invest. But if he's just a collector and this really is an investment, I think Omi is his investment, which probably isn't smart. Prince, good to see you. VeVe needs to talk about MCP ASAP, out of respect for us before the end of the year. Yes, Prince, I don't know if I've seen you on here before, but I think I see you all the time in the market. So thank you for screwing me over. Just kidding. Good to see you. Yes. So let's see here. Randy is borderline saying, I didn't say it. Yeah, I respect his conviction. He either going to end up in a yacht or a cardboard box. He might already be in a cardboard box. I mean, he's been in the same room for a while. But yeah, I mean, seriously, he's certainly a cheerleader that you would want for a project like this. Get a lot of people. All right, guys, let's just take a quick look here at the who's going for it, who's not, and the number's going lower. So we got more votes in. 30% say yes, 70% say no. Remember, and I'm going to pull these back up, guys, just in case. This is probably a better thing to keep up for you. Anyways, if I can find it. Let's share this tab. Here are the Minty Fresh numbers. Just remember, I effed up on that 10,000. This is only 7,500 editions. These are all the mints. Get your magnifying glass out, because that's probably the only way you're going to see this. But maybe you can enlarge it. I did tweet this out too, so maybe it will show up better. What I tell a lot of people, if you're in front of a computer, pull up the tweet and have that in a window, enlarge it, and then look at that. And then you have the mints right there if you're sniping. That's what I used to do when OG Vault would have those up. So I think that's the way to do it. VeVe needs to drop a yacht for Randy so he can live in, or drop a box. They should have like a box and a yacht drop, right? Have like, 10,000 boxes and like 200 yachts. So because most of us will be in boxes if we spent all our money on VeVe. Let's see. Omi is in this app, but whatever, no worries. Let's see. What do we got here? If it's all dead, why here? No, it's honestly, this idea, I don't think VeVe's dead. It's just the excitement. We've been promised a lot of stuff, and I mean, I do think they're gonna fulfill everything they promised. Is it gonna be what we like or what we expected? Maybe not, but I think they're trying to fulfill what they need to do. Obviously, they're getting more in a business mindset, obviously, because of the other day and coming out in an apology and all that stuff. Keeping things interesting with the upcoming drops. Giving us, I guess, what you'd call utility, giving us posters for buying a comic or being able to craft stuff. I mean, we normally get burned on that stuff. So, that will change. The only way that changes, though, is mint size, at least right now. Hopefully in the future, we'll laugh and be like, 6,000 editions or 75. That's so crazy. We've got, 2 million people on this app, and everything sells out instantly. We may get back to that point. I don't know. It's possible. So, and yes, Tucson definitely believes that VeVe is going to be sold. I've always said that I thought Disney would buy them out, but I just saw that Disney's now doing the Funko NFTs. So I don't know what's going. Like, I think it's great that they're getting a lot of projects, but on the other hand, now it seems like it's getting crazy. Maybe a little saturation at that point. I don't know. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. If, you know, I love competition. I think we need to have more projects out there. But now it's like they're on everything. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a smart business move for them, maybe. But I don't get it, because it's not going to help overall to have too many projects that can just have whatever. So I don't know, because I think making it exclusive or more exclusive for these projects is important, in my opinion. So what do we got here? Disney has no money to buy anything, so that's why they're doing these to collect money. You know, doing lots of drops. Maybe that might be it. Let's see. Yes. Good morning. What happened with Disney Pinnacle? I don't know. I'm like on their thing for waitlist. I didn't see an email, but I've got like 5 million in my account, so it's possible I missed it. I think it's going to still happen. I think there's going to be people are going to want that. How excited people are going to be, I have no clue. It's going to be interesting. So, okay, guys, as far as this comic, I still haven't decided if I'm going for it. The number keeps going downward. 20% are going for it. 72%. No, now 30. It's going up and down as I look at it, as you guys F with me. So, yeah, I'm probably not going for this. I might regret that, though. I feel like with 7,500 editions, it's 10 gems. Maybe not. Maybe I won't. I mean, I probably, if I flip in the market, I can make a few gems. If I get this, the chances of me getting a secret rare are pretty nil. In fact, I'll probably get the uncommon, which would be the worst possible outcome, in my opinion. But you never know. You never know. I did get the Superboy secret rare, and I did well on that. So I think I sold that for 175. So yeah, I did pretty good on that. If this was 5,699, I'd go for it. If it was 699 at 75, I'd go for it. It'd be worth the risk, which is, you know, crazy because it's only $3 more, and I've got a lot of gems. It's just, I don't know. The Sentinels, I guess that's, you know, good, but is it going to make this crazy valuable right now? I don't see the interest. I really just don't see the interest in this. And probably a lot of people are trying to make money. So if you really love this comic, I'd probably just get in the aftermarket, probably be cheaper. All right, guys, we've got, let's see, 12 minutes until the wait list is going to be shut down. So keep that in mind, or it's 11 minutes. Keep that in mind. So if you want to join the wait list, I would just join the wait list, and, you know, even if you don't want to go for it, you have the option to go for it until 15 after, or until 14 after, actually. And then 15 after, you can go for the rebound, and the market's going to open up at 20 after, which I still don't like. I think that's crazy. I've been waiting for a pullback on Photo Finish Live to jump in, but looks like that isn't happening. Yeah, good. Actually, Big A, I was on there with Shelby Cobra last night looking for stuff, and it is super expensive. And yikes, I don't know what to do. If you guys don't know, you know, Photo Finish Live is the horse racing. You can breed, you can pick, you can make a wager on horses. You can race them, a whole bunch of stuff. You stake. And you can get in on the dollar, right? You can buy in with your credit card if you want to. But anyways, I love the project, and obviously I've got 2 fillies, so I can breed, you know. But yeah, I want to race. I'd like to get a few to race, and I couldn't find anything that was worth buying. So yeah, maybe there'll be a pullback, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Trey Carter, I feel sure Disney is using FTs as a way to boost their numbers in areas where their business is failing. Disney needs a new CEO badly. I mean, look, he did well, then he left and he came back. I just think COVID was a big issue for a company like Disney, who's a media company, right? So they really got hurt when people weren't going to movie theaters and they had to release stuff directly. And I think that's all catching up with them now. I could be wrong. I'm no expert on that. Rich Alvarez, thank you for coming by. How much is the physical comic? The physical comic, the 9.8 is 28,000. And hold on here, it's a little crowded. The 9.6 was 13,500. So if you care about real world value, that means something to you. I mean, that's good, but it's nowhere near what we've seen on other comics that haven't done well. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see. Loss potential spread much higher when the list price is 10. Well, I just wish, I mean, obviously they're doing experimenting with these prices just to see what people will take. You know, oh, this is an early comic. I'd be willing to do it. They're trying to test does 7,500 work for 10 gems. You know, maybe this is the time that we tell them it doesn't, and you do that by not buying it off the in the store. But I do like the mechanics of like on the Jedi comic coming out next week, where you have to buy it in the store to get it, just like they did with the pencils for the desk. I think that's a genius move to force us to make a bad decision. So don't FOMO, guys. Nothing goes up forever. I mean, at least right now. And I mean, absolutely. Even if you look at the stock market, it goes up and down. But over 30 years, you're gonna make your 8% or your 10 or 12, or you know, I had a great uncle who could do 20%. So it just depends how good you are at doing that. And Tucson there, horse racing sucks in real life and everything. Well, but this isn't in real life, and these horses don't die or get hurt. So I'm totally okay with it. Pokemon already dropped on Solana. VeVe waited too long. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So horse racing sucks, but give war a chance. Tucson, it's crazy. Superstar Money, good to see you. What's up? And happy Hanukkah. Thank you. I appreciate Hanukkah. First day of Hanukkah. It happens tonight. I'm not the most religious guy, but I appreciate that. So happy Hanukkah to anyone else out there who happens to be part of the tribe like I am. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about Christmas because I've got the Christmas tree is up. We got all the lights. In fact, we were first to get them all up in the neighborhood. We got our menorah up, but it's a lot more Christmas in the house. It's like a little area of menorah, and then everything else is Christmas. So it's very festive here. And I'm excited. I'm excited for all the holidays and of all the religions. And so hopefully everyone has a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. And if you're Jewish tonight, a good start of your Hanukkah. So yeah, thank you, Joe, on that. Good to see you. The biggest bro, good to see you, man. All is well. I hope all is well for you. Hope you're doing well. Always good to see you. Always good to see the other content creators drop by and get bored by what I'm doing here. All right, guys, we've got about a little less than 7 minutes to join the waitlist. I don't think it matters if you join the waitlist. I've got the minty fresh numbers up. I don't even know if you guys can actually read those. If you can't read them, let me know and I can read them off. But I did tweet it out. In fact, guys, I am trying to join. I'm trying to increase my Twitter account. So if you want, you go to Informant without the space on Twitter or X or whatever the heck you want to call it. Because I don't know. It's always going to be Twitter to me. It's like Kleenex, right? So if you guys want, you can join that. I did put out the minty fresh numbers. I will follow you back. I don't care how many subs you have or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'll follow you back if you follow me. And you can get that. I'm trying to do less tweeting out now because I feel like it's annoying. So not doing as much of the Happy Tree Friends stuff, trying to, I do a lot of PFL stuff. So, but yeah, go ahead and join. You can pull that up. And then if you're sniping in the market, just pull that up in another window, make it large and have them right there. And you can just look up and you'll have those mint numbers. So let's see here. What do we got here? Biggest bro. Get the likes up, people. Yeah, guys, hit the likes. We got a few people in here. We can get a few more than 16. Let's see if we can get that to 20. Thanks, the biggest bro. Appreciate it. Grand Theft Auto trailer making all of us Floridians look cray. But definitely getting. That's why I left Florida, because it is cray. But guess what? So is Misery, where I live right now. So it's also cray. So Florida is great if you live on the water. I'm just kidding. It's actually really nice. I get the winter blues. So when I lived in Florida, during the winter I was happy, and during the summer I was miserable. So I don't know. I guess it kind of just works itself out. It evens itself out. Don't know how anyone can be in the same room with because he's so entertaining. Missouri is worse than Florida for sure. Absolutely. I agree. Missouri is pretty disgusting. But St. Louis, I feel like, is the refuge here. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Graz lives. He lives on the very fancy side of Florida, the East Coast. Midwesterners, a lot of times, not that anyone care, they end up on the West Coast, more Tampa, Fort Myers, Naples, and then the East Coast people end up on the East Coast, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, that side. So it's kind of interesting how that works. Yes, the biggest bro, he's scared of Florida. It's like, you know, you've got the two states that are sunny, but obviously California has way more people. It's definitely nice. You do deal with earthquakes. Florida deals with hurricanes. They both suck. And then Missouri is just horrible. There's nothing great here, and we get tornadoes. And we're waiting for like the biggest earthquake on Earth that should happen in the next, I think, 70 years. So that's going to be fun too, because I'm sure all the houses are going to collapse. Florida's the best state. Good to see you, Scar. Glad to have you. Let's see here. The Ozarks equals Bigfoot, Tucson, Hill. That's funny. All right, guys. Lord, can't we all just get along? All right, I am still on the wait list. I feel like I should leave it. So you got about 2.5 minutes if you want to join the wait list. If you're not sure whether you're going to go for it, I just go ahead and join it. If you want good luck, you want to get secret rare, hit the like button and get that up to 20. Because that definitely works. But as far as who's going for this, we got 34% say yes, they're going to go for it. 66 say no. Again, as I always said, 65% is my like kind of threshold. That's the minimum I want on the yeses before I'll go for it. This is 7,500 editions. I know my Minty Fresh numbers say 10,000, so that makes it a little better. But for 10 gems, I'm probably not going to go for it. More as a protest. I like going for these, but I'll snipe in the market a little bit. So you do as you wish, guys. But it doesn't look like many are going to be going for this. Let's see. I'm scared of a Florida man, right? We all are. All right, guys. So again, we got a few minutes if you want to join the wait list. Just real quick, we can go back to talking about what's coming up real quick. I am very interested in the Lambo drop. I'm going to pull this up here real quick, and we'll get back to the comic here and the Minty Fresh numbers. Did I just leave the wait list? No. Minute 15 seconds, guys, to join that wait list if you want to join. Otherwise, you'll be able to get it on the rebound. So I do like the. I kind of would. These are definitely the coolest ones in my mind. I like the original. Some of the older stuff. 1,200 editions. There's just a lot of editions here, right? We're just gonna say 22, 32, 3,300, about 3,200 total. It's a lot, and it's 70 gems. I don't know if that's the right price point, but we're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna go for this. So 120 on everything else. They are keeping 90 editions, but on the secret rare they're only keeping 40. So, man, if you land like number 41 secret rare on that, it's going to be a good day for you. And I love the color, and I'm not even a green lover, but I like that. Of course, I probably would go red if I bought one, which will never happen. So there you go. There's that. And then we got the Mighties. The Mighties are coming out, and that whole interesting. There's a lot of people putting videos out there. You should watch them and kind of see how it's going to work. We're going to be able to craft some stuff that they haven't released yet. So there's the concept art for what they're going to be releasing. Kind of cool. I think those could do well. But I mean, look at the helicopter, the Thanos helicopter. It's not doing amazing. So keep that in mind. Every time they try to say something big's going to happen or try to get us to think something big's going to happen, it doesn't. So here, let me pull the Minty Fresh numbers back up for you guys. Share that so you guys can snipe the market. All right, so Alejandro, he says Florida's the best state. How much do you think SR Lambo would go for? Wow, that's a good question. If you guys have an idea in the chat, let me know. I mean, we've seen comics go to 800, maybe sell at 800. This will be one of the lowest minted items, but if they set a new standard and 80 available is going to be the new standard. Well, then this obviously won't be that big of a deal. Just kind of like the secret rare Aston Martin at 500 was insane at the time. And now that's not so insane. Having said that, I mean, I'd give a big range. I mean, maybe 500 to 1,000, but you never know. It could be way more. That is a low edition size. So could go for a lot. Could go for a lot. Let's see. Search for your birthday and add Florida Man. There you go. Lamba's going to be aftermarket shopping. Yeah, I think so. VeVe has a lot of work on community relations ahead of them. These drops should be cheaper, less mints to get to really get the community going. Yeah, I mean, they really do need to get the community going and spending some more money. And I'm not sure how they do that. I'm not sure how they do that, but they're not doing it right now. But they at least are keeping things interesting. Man, I got almost 40 Lambos. This Lamborghini job might be the wrong job. Well, I mean, it might work out for you. You know, that's the thing. If you love the Lambos and they do well, you're renting out Lambos in the metaverse or the VeVe-verse, you know, that could be a good thing. I don't know what that's going to mean, but you kind of have to choose what you like in the app and stack it. Just, you know, don't spend more money than you have. That's the big thing. You're still 3,000 of those Lamborghinis on the drop. I'm really not sure if you want to take the gamble. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to take the gamble on that. Let's see. Anything less than 500 is a steal in the market for SR Lambo. I would agree. That's probably, if you can get one for 500, I mean, if anything, you're going to get people that anytime that you've got a low mint size, you're going to get people to manipulate the market, right? So you could have a whale come in and just buy them up at a real low price. Then they kind of go up and then people freak out because they can't sell it. So they drop it down. That whale goes and picks up more of them. And now none are on the market. So probably 500 to steal. And, you know, if you're lucky, maybe it goes for 1,000 or more, which would be great. But we'll have to see. When desk break that, let's see. Well, we've got a few minutes until about 2 minutes until you can buy this. So then about 22 minutes when the market opens and I start missing snipes. Yeah. All right. So we got Bobby Brown and Ray Rice at Tucson. All right. Let's see here. Ike Turner. There you go. That's you're gonna name all the Missouri people here. Let's see here. What are we talking about? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hit that like button, guys. Let's quickly go over. We've got 50 votes here. Not too bad. Give you a good idea of what people are going to do. That number probably represents hundreds of people. So 32% are going for it. 68% say no. So honestly, probably not worth going for. If you're doing this to make, you know, if you want to make gems on this, you're better off trying to snipe the market, looking at my minty fresh numbers, sniping one of those that I want, and watching me break my desk. That is probably a much better route to go. Yeah. So right now we've got 44 seconds. We'll start finding out if these are selling out. Let me know if you did go for it and what you got. I hope you get the secret rare. My suggestion would be, if the price is high at the beginning, it's just a suggestion, not financial advice, and get rid of it, because I don't know how well it's going to do. I don't think these are going to sell out, or at least right away. So keep that in mind. And hopefully you get lucky. Hopefully somebody gets that secret rare in the chat, because I think you'll be happy. Let's see here. All right, I bought that Yoda comic secret rare for 140 gems. There's only 3 listed now, under 1,000. The only thing with that, and I agree, like seeing value because there's less on the market. That used to be something like if you didn't have much, and now you can buy. Just saw it pop up. So if you guys want to buy, start buying. Let me know what you got in the market. But you know, why didn't that come off? But yeah, anyway, so seeing in the market that something doesn't, it only has a couple on the market, and then the people who list put it at 1,000. That's not going to necessarily be the value. I mean, trying to sell some of my stuff, I looked at what the value was. Obviously, what's the value? The value is what people are willing to pay for it. And I had to drop stuff like a $200 item. I had to drop it almost 40 gems to sell it. Basically, you're having somebody take a risk who's willing to spend the time to keep listing it on the market to make 20 gems or 30 gems or whatever it is. And if you want to sell and instead of profit, you're going to have to price it right to get rid of it. Leave some meat on the bone. But here we go, guys. The market's not open yet, but you can buy if you join the wait list. anyone get anything good while everyone in the background talks about bad men and stuff like that? I have no clue what's going on. But anyways, 20 likes in here, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get that up. We got more than that in here, and it does help me out. Or, like I said, hit the dislike button. That also helps, believe it or not. And then there we go. Somebody took one off and put it back on. But anyways, I do think if you get some of these minty fresh numbers, here's my, I'm looking for my stylus here, so I'll be ready to snipe at 20 after. I do think the first hit is worth going for. I don't know how much it's worth spending for. I'd say if you get it for 50 gems or less, you can get rid of it. These days, I don't know what these things are going to go for. It's not easy, but 177 is going to be much less. I just know that. So keep that in mind. Last mint 7,500, not 10,000. So disregard that. Last mint is 7,500. All right. So we're getting our first purchase, trash mint, common L. But the good news is you expected that. So yeah, so you expected it and you got what you expected. I knew that I would get a comment. Actually, I thought I'd get an uncommon. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend 10 gems. I worked hard to, sell about $400 worth of stuff, close to 2,700 gems, just in case something big comes out. We'll have to see. Anyone interested in my 1, 2, 3, 4 Thanos copter? I don't even know what I listed it at. I'm going to sell it. I think I have it at $499. I go back and forth what I want to do, but if somebody offered me 200 for it, I'd probably sell it. In reality, that's probably what it's worth. If obviously if this project ever makes it, that's going to be huge. That's why I always don't like getting rid of those. On the other hand, I like gems right now because I just don't know what's going to happen. All right, so we've got Troy Carthy, he got a common. So see, this is the problem. Maybe you do need to wait. Alejandro, are you going for this? You waiting for it? See, it's a good thing Big A has more money than me because he gets more commons than I do. There you go. But he puts a lot of money into this. He should get, some secret rares. Big A, how many secret rares have you gotten? Let me know how many secret rares you got, Big A. I am curious. Thanks to you43, always helping us out here. 917 sold out of 7,500. Not great, guys. Which is what I assumed. Hashtag never SR. Really? I'm waiting for 10 minutes. Okay, so he's going back to the 10-minute thing. I have not done that. Let's see. Oh, I'm just looking at all the stuff that's sold. I do think I know people are talking about this in the chat. The fact that VeVe, drops stuff every 30 days off the market really does help prices. It makes it so it looks like, there's less out there and people kind of, freak out and be like, oh, that's a good deal. Better buy it up, increases prices. And then, that kind of screws over the people who don't realize what's going on. So, do what you got to do though. BE, show your comic collection. My VeVe or my real one? C-Spill, good to see you. I don't actually have my VeVe account up, but I can tell you real quick if you're interested. We got a few minutes here, so don't mind telling you. I've got, I do have AF15 SR, a crappy mint, but I've got it. I've got, if I was to look at good stuff, like I've got the Ghost Rider #1 2014. I've got 20,000. So I've got the last mint. I really like collecting the special mints. So I've got some pretty decent special mints out there that I'm not going to sell. Let's see here. I know this is probably boring as heck looking at me, but let me see. We got another common. C-Spill got a common. Ghost Slayer. Just being a bro, mind sweeping comments for the fam. LOL. There you go. Yes, I did get lucky. I got that on the drop. I did get lucky. You should have seen Shelby Cobra got the common, and she was like, I got the common. And then I literally, it was the best investment of my life. I had just bought the iPad Pro. This is the first one. Just bought it. So this thing had nothing on it. There was no, I cleared everything off of it. It was clean. And not that that should have mattered, right? But I guess it got me in to get, because at those days, we didn't have wait lists. And I'm waiting, and I look and I saw the white comic, and I'm like, no way. I started shaking because everyone's like, oh my God, this is gonna be worth $3,000 to $5,000. And then it was worth 23 and I didn't sell it. So wish I sold it at 20. I wouldn't have sold it for 23. Did get up to 23, probably would have had to sell it about 18,000. So should have sold it and rebought it. All right, I'm just trying to think if I've got what would be a good mint on. I mean, I've got Red Hulk 188, but that's not really that good. I do have Incredible Hulk #1. I have 2012, which is the year of the second Hulk. They did an original movie. That was the second movie, the first movie of the second run of it. And then I've got 9987, which is close to the last mint. I mean, I've got some stuff in here. People probably don't really care about a lot of these. Don't have a tremendous amount of secret rares, but I normally just collect the low mints on the comics. I'm just trying to see. Some I have multiples, so I'd have to open up. I have 616 of the Marvel Zombies 4. One of these I'll pull it up. I did have the Venom Lethal Protector. That was the one they dropped on at San Diego Comic-Con. Oh my Lord, it makes me sick how much I paid for this. So I bought number 52. All right, so now the floor's at 78. I bought number 52 thinking they've never had any mints under 158. So in my head, I'm like, this is special. This is absolutely worth it. It's going to be worth a lot of money. I bought 52. I paid 348 gems for that. All right. I have no clue what it's worth now, but not 348 gems. So, I mean, look, I make mistakes all the time. I make guesses and they're wrong. I got giant size X-Men #1, 7480. So close to the last mint. So there you go. I've got more than that. I got Strange Tales 138. Got the first mint 186. So yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Since I know I'm boring you guys, we got John here. Good to see you. What's a good MCP level? I mean, 100. I mean, I'm at 30. 50, maybe 50. You start really getting up there. I don't know if it matters right now. But yeah, I think you start showing that you're a big collector at about 50. But there's actually a lot of big collectors that just don't collect anymore that are at I've seen as low as like 19. People who I thought were big collectors and they just got rid of everything. So I don't think it matters. You can't do anything with it anyways. So iPad Pro was like 90% hit rate. Yeah, and you said that, and you have the M2. He has the newer one. I have the original, but man, I mean, boy, was that paid for with that one drop. So let's see. You can sell everything and just hold that AF-15. You'll be good. You're very, very lucky. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's exactly right. Or there's been times, honestly, I was so mad with VeVe until what they did on Tuesday. I was almost ready to sell everything, and that was going. But that one, I've always said I want to ride it, all the way up or all the way down, because it cost me 20 gems. What does it matter? Level 20. I mean, it's not too bad, guys. You just it takes time to get your levels up. And right now it doesn't matter. VeVe would recover a lot of excitement if they cut mints in half. I know, I agree. But unless it's Tarzan, nobody cares about that. So yeah, it'd be nice to do that. Let's see. Granddaddy Crypto in here. Did I miss that? I don't know. I didn't see. Anyways, yeah, Lethal Protector kicked my ass too. Yeah, that one. But these are the things you have to do. Sometimes make guesses, and you got to make them fast. And at the time, that was the lowest available mint. That was a good price for it. That was floor. And in my head, I'm thinking this is a no-brainer. Thinking, hey, anything under 158 is going to be worth more since they've never had those low mints available. And then they did it the next day, right there. They had another one where they had low mints and stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy. But I still think I'll do well with that in the end. That's one I'll just keep. I don't care. I will hit level 100. Yeah, I feel like it will take me forever to do it. I got the giant size X-Men common way. Oh wow, okay. I think I mean, that's definitely a good one to have. So Anyways, guys, we are 5 minutes away, a little less than 5 minutes away until the market. Actually, I've got 3 minutes. That's really weird. 15 minutes. Oh, okay. 3:39 if you have the buy. If you're on the wait list, you've got 3 minutes, 30 seconds to buy this. Then there's like a minute wait. And then at 15 after, you'll be able to buy it off the market. Do we know how many have sold? G43. I don't know if you have the amount that have sold. But again, guys, Minty Fresh numbers here, or you can go on Twitter. I did tweet it out and pull that up on another screen, have that ready so you can snipe those mints that I want, piss me off, and have me hit the desk, because I do feel like I am not doing as well. But being direct connected did get me that 1, 2, 3, 4 Thanos helicopter. It's just thinking about you, Ronnie Lido. How are you doing? I mint 1923 uncommon on here. On this one, I think that's a good one. That's one I look for. So that's Disney's birthday. Obviously, Disney owns this. There will be people who pay more. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what you should sell that. 1923 is Disney Brothers. That's the name of the corporation. When they started, Disney Brothers Incorporated in 1923. So that's why I have it up there, because Disney owns this. At least they own Marvel right now. I think it's important. Used to go for a lot more. Trying to think what to sell it for. Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I think you can get your money back. I mean, I'd throw it up. In this market, it is going to be kind of hard. That's one that I like to get at floor, right? Like that's one I want to pick up at 2 gems. And try to get 10, but I can take 6 or 7 for it. In the past, you'd probably get 15 to 20 for it. So maybe try 20. I just keep popping it up there until it sells. Somebody should buy it. I mean, you certainly get your money. I think you could get your money back on it, or at least maybe only lose a few cents. But yeah, what would you post it for? All right, not financial advice. I would definitely, I would start off at 19.99, and watch it drop down the screen, pop it up again. Just keep posting it for 19.99 for like the first minute, and then drop it. I drop it like $1 each time to 15. Maybe post it a couple times at 15. If it doesn't sell, I mean, this you're probably going to have 10, 15 minutes of really good time to get rid of it, and then otherwise throw it up there at $9.99 later and just let it sit until somebody buys it. But if you just want to get rid of it and get your money back, I think you could do it. $7.99. You should be, if you put it up right away for $7.99, I think somebody will buy it right away. That's probably your best bet if you want to get rid of it quickly. But yeah, I'd say $19.99. I think that's where I would start at, and go from there. All right, so we got 1,351 got sold. Thank you, G43. I always appreciate your help here. Always has the alpha on the numbers. And right now you've got 25 seconds to buy it if you're on the wait list. Otherwise, you'll be able to get it on the rebound here at 15 after. And then we're going to have to wait 5 minutes for the market to open. So yeah, kind of sucks. We have to wait here, and I have to listen to myself, and you have to listen to me. But we've got 39% who went for it. 61% say no out of 61 votes. Not bad. All right, so now you can't go for it if you're on the wait list. I just got kicked off the wait list, but in a few seconds it should pop up. You should have you shouldn't have a hard time getting this on the rebound. So are there any apps that show up-to-date floor prices for VeVe? There were a bunch of apps, actually. I don't use any of them. I don't even know what's going on with all the different apps. I know there are some. I probably actually should be using them for some strategy. Does anyone have a good website in the chat? You're not going to be able to put up the www, but you can give the name of it. So, yep, sorry didn't join you today, mate. Woke up so late. Yeah, no problem. Actually, Dr. Strange wanted to come on, and I forgot to respond to him. So I feel kind of bad. I was going to have him on. I got to talk to him after this. And then I think I'm doing a PFL. We're doing a photo finish live after that. So no worries, man. I'll all good. Good to see you, though. Okay, free CV61. Got an ultra rare. I think that's good. That's going to be a good one. My NFT tracker. All right, there's one. Oh, doctor in the house. Well, here, hold on a second. Yeah, things got crazy last night. I'm so frustrated with the IRS, and I had some other bullshit. I got it figured out, but man, I'm so mad with the freaking IRS. They suck. Let's see here. I'll paste it on here. Doctor, if you want to come in real quick. Yeah, because I'll be sniping. So if you want to come in and hang out and talk to people and maybe talk about the Jedi, the comic coming out that you did the review on, which I think everyone should definitely check out Doctor's reviews. He gives a good, overview of the comic and his feelings. If you should, are you slacking or stacking, stacking or slacking, and he can give you a good idea of what you can do. I went for 2 more drops. What did you get? VeVe set list. There's another one you can go for. Got a nice 4X X-Men. Cool. All right, so guys, we got a few minutes here. Where's my pillow? I got a pillow here to put my tablet on. The problem is I directly connect to the internet, and this cord is getting bad, and it can get disconnected easily. So I don't know. We'll see here. But I am going to snipe the market, and maybe the doctor will come on. He can talk to us. Just looking at the prices in the actual market. I mean, it does look like prices are coming out. I did see the VeVe logo. The orange logo went up, not the secret rare one, the one from the one that tricked us. But yeah, that one was at like, I don't know, 80, 75, 80, and it was up to, I think, 120 I saw this morning. All right, so let's see here. Ronnie, the lucky one, 839 common and a high mint uncommon. I mean, you still do pretty well. 1039 would have been better because that's the month and year of Timely Comics, or predecessor to Marvel. So that one has a little extra value. Good to see you, Bruin. Glad you could be here. And the Cool Cats, and Mr. Positive Tucson. Always come here for a happy moment. Tucson only has positive stuff to say. So, all right, here we go, guys. We've got a few minutes here. Again, remember, I effed up on the last mint. Last mint is 7,500, not 10,000. And again, I don't know why I did that, but yeah. All right, so we got 2,005 sold out of the 7,500. This is not going to be a fun market to snipe. I think it's going to be hard to find anything good, but we'll see. Hopefully you do. If you guys don't mind, hit that like button. I do have my shill going on here with my QR codes. If you guys want to donate a little money, they're the QR codes of the Botrix. Actually has a link. Don't feel obligated. Rather you hit the like button or subscribe. Retweet this out. That's great. If you have some extra money you want to donate, great. If not, don't worry about it. I have a few things I want to do, and I can tell you things are getting expensive with all the stuff I'm buying. But anyways, there's my shill. It's always good to see you. Let's see. Always has to be one. But you're here, Bruin, to keep things real. So that's what's important. And to kick some butt. And, Bruin lived in St. Louis misery for a while with his wife because she went to Wash U. And so he understands the miserable life I live here. But he's in California now. So now everything's good. It's a good life. Yeah. All right, guys. The market's open. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to just start sniping as soon as it comes on. We should see some listed. We should see Ronnie Lito's 1923 list on the uncommon. If you guys collect that, that should be coming up here soon. All right, let's see how quickly I get kicked out, get an IP ban. All right, so we are up. Floor's at 350 right now. I would assume these are going to go, well, they might be artificially high. I don't know. We'll see. I am going to keep doing this. Like I said, I don't know if you're still in here, Doctor. If you want to come in here and talk while I look down at my tablet, you can. Looking for that 7,500, the last mint, or 176. Not much coming on. Looks like $3, 3 gems. There's 839. There's Ronnie Lido. I think that's a good price, but be ready to drop it quickly because 601 is on there for $19.99. Just remember, when you're selling, quick. Don't, like, if you're willing to take less, get it at the lower price, or at least lower your prices quickly, because the first few minutes is huge as far as what you're going to get for stuff. It's not, things are different like than the old days. So if you used to be here and you're coming back, you got to think differently. What are we at on the floor here? 350, maybe 4. All right, anything 7,200 for 4 gems, not going to do it. Yeah, I don't know where a good buy-in on this. I mean, I guess if you saw these at 250 or less, that might be a good price. I mean, we're already at 1252 for a 3-digit. I'd say 3-digit, probably I'd put it at 899 and just get rid of it. And at least you made a few jemmies. Looks like we got 40% went for the 60% did not. Obviously now you can buy. 601 is at $10 now. So you see people are dropping them real quickly. There's 1963 for 213. Way too much in this market, but good snipe. Or if you got that, I didn't see it. So, I mean, since not many have sold, it's just going to be hard to get anything here on the market to snipe. I'm not seeing anything. I'm assuming if I do, I'm not going to get it because KCBMW will beat me to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything. I'm looking for like a 3-digit around 3 or 4 gems. And even if I did see it, I'm not even sure I could snipe it. There's 188. I don't want that. 176, man. I don't know if I'd spend 100 for 176. Probably should. I've played that game before and gotten burned. I mean, your best bet is to try to get 3 digits at about 3, 4, 5 gems. 5 gems are getting a little high. You got to sell it quick. 919 for 15. Not a good deal. Let's see here. See, normally I like it when I don't go for it and I can tell you what prices are. I'm going to get screwed here. But the secret rare floor price is 112. So I think that will come down. So maybe this will stay 90 to 100. So yeah, I mean, again, if you got the secret rare, this should do pretty well compared to some of the other stuff, especially since it's 7,500 instead of 10,000. Are you and Bruin, Tucson and Bruin, are you guys fighting? 290 now. I just saw 290 on the floor. Still don't think that's the buy price. I do think these will have a little dip. There's 420 for 50, way too much. There's 1,900 for 10. Again, most of the mints I have on there, guys, yes, 176 is the first available mint. So VeVe keeps a lot. So that's just the first available mint, and people add extra value to it. 6,000 for 60, not going to pay that. I'm just trying to see. 3530, a good number. I don't think so. I don't think that will get you anything special, but somebody in the chat might know. Yeah, this is too boring. Oh, Tucson, this stream? I mean, isn't the whole stream boring? Honestly, I'm just saying. But you're here, so you must find some interest in it, screwing with us. But yes, I would be pretty bored watching a guy snipe a market while he looks down at his tablet. I guess that 420 sold for 50. Karina G B test got it. And that account is always selling good stuff. There's 6106. Usually any 616 numbers do pretty well. That darkly sold that though. So 65. I'm not seeing any good mints here. All right, what do we got here? Hit that like button, guys. We are 2 away from 30. Love to see it. So the floor, I saw it hit 290. I'm looking to see if there's going to be some at 250, but because not many have sold, I don't know. This is where you want to kind of, again, if you get something good off the drop, get rid of it as quickly as possible. That is your best bet. There's three gems, 299 on the common. I'm just sitting on the common, guys. This is just the place to with the best chance to find those low mints. Looks like a lot are getting dropped at 3. That's the problem. I knew this was going to go pretty low, which is why I didn't go for it. 1961 for 25. Not going to do that. 6106 is going for 616. I mean, I used to sit here and look for these good numbers, and it wouldn't matter. I'd be able to flip them, but you got to be so careful what you guys get. But yeah, I think if you look at the mints I have and you get them around the floor price, I think you can flip them for a few gems or maybe even more. Let's see here. All right, cool. I'm glad he came because he'll make this more interesting. I hope Doc is ready. I'm going to put him on. Hey, Doc, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. I would be doing better if I knew I was coming on, because when you sent the link out, I was pretty much out of the house and running around.
It's all right. It's all right. We got you on here. I didn't see you got a new logo. I haven't seen that.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah. I like it.
Thanks to the homie Jay East. He's been hooking different people up in the community with some new PFP action.
I was gonna say I've seen that style, so it looks good. It definitely looks good.
Yeah,
so you got one of those. By the way, $2.99 is the floor. Did you go for this, Doctor? Or were you like, I'm not gonna spend 10 gems on this?
Yeah. Option B. Not spending. And then, we got another one that's 10 gems. So I'm like, what are they doing? Like,
yeah, why would you get do this? That? I'm confused. I mean, what do you think the reason? Are they just testing the waters to see what they can get away with? Is that what this is?
Feels like it. I mean, I'll just say that I would spend 10 gems on a comic that's definitely iconic, highly traded, popular, and comes with a poster. That, right. That mitigates my loss, my risk of loss, So I've been saying this for several videos that they need to do something to make it worth going for a drop. Like me giving you $6.99 and you giving me a random comic I can't even decide what I'm getting. That's getting played out. Especially, like somebody in the comments said, we have a lot of grails already. I don't think we have. I guess technically we have all, if you want to say that, but there's still some comics out there that go for a lot of money that you may not consider a grail, like the Fantastic Four joint. That's the first appearance of Galactus. I love that cover. It's red, and it just has the Watcher on it looking like pointing in the distance, like, what the hell is that coming? And it's Galactus. Right. That book goes for like 180,000, I think, somewhere around there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, see, and if they would put those out at a low mint, like somebody was saying in the chat, like really low mint to get some excitement, that's what we need. And I think you're right. And by the way, guys, you should check out Doctor's video on the Return of the Jedi comic. That's what day is it? The Friday the 15th.
Like next week.
It's coming out.
Yeah,
next week.
14th, 15th.
So you should check that out. And the mechanics of how that's going to work with the posters and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, I will give them props for trying, right? Like, at least they're trying new things. What do you think about the drop on Saturday? What do you think about the Lambo? What do is that exciting to you, or 70 just outrageous?
For the brand that it is, 70 is priced right. But for the times we're in, it's not priced right. But once you set a standard, how do you drop one of the first, Lambos or whatever, early models, and then be like, oh, it's 20 gems? It almost like devalues it. So I get it.
Yes, but, devalues everything.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just hard to say, because at the time when these things dropped, I didn't have a problem with the price.
Right.
I was in a better position at that time too, though. So, I played both of the Lambo games. I played the game. And at the end of the day, like someone told me, everything falls. Once you've seen Darth Vader and Todd's and all these things you consider grails fall, nothing is safe. So to me, like, I even bought Iron Man. I waited for the Iron Man animated to drop to, like, I think when it finally hit 80 or something like that. I think I bought it 80 or 100, and it still had slippage. So nothing's safe.
Right? Nothing is sacred. It's crazy. By the way, I just want to say quick hi to Kobe Collects. Good to see you, man. And just remember, on Tuesdays, we do our HRO crafting event. He was unable to make it this last week, and I just gave up on it. But we've got next week is the big actual final crafting of all the pieces. So we'll be on for that. So thanks for dropping by, Kobe. Good to see you. Always good to see you.
Hey, I just want to shout out Kobe real quick because
please.
He's on Twitter, but Kobe's not like super active on Twitter like he used to be when he did giveaways and all this stuff. And to see him come out, I saw him adding, comments onto a lot of tweets involving, like the video you made, about that. And I just wanted to applaud him for being vocal. And he understands what's going on. Really well.
I was super happy that, and because it was, and we can talk about this because I think it's an important subject. Yes, I completely agree because I don't want to talk about my video, but either way, I just think that not enough people. Oh my God, and not enough people came out and said stuff about it, and Kobe was one of them. And it just, everyone knew what was up, but a lot of creators were waiting for the safe moment to say something, and I just think that's a pussy move. And there's a lot of content creators who I respect who didn't say anything, maybe even still haven't said anything, and that's quite disappointing to me. Quite disappointing because we're a family, and there's a lot of people here, a very diverse group. And, you minus all the other BS out there, if we're just focusing on VeVe, we're a family and we got to protect each other. And if you're not willing to risk things to support the family, then I don't know why you're here. So, but I want to hear your opinion, Doctor, because I think that's important, just to hear your thoughts on the whole thing.
Well, I have a multi-angled, multi-dimensional type of perspective on this.
Go for it. Please go for it.
I mean, I don't respond, as being a foundational Black American, American freedman, I'm also Native. Those who don't know, Red Indians came kind of later. If you read Christopher Columbus's journals and logs when he first landed here, he saw Black Indians, and he called us copper-colored Indians. So I'm 3 tribes Native. I'm Blackfoot, which obviously is a Black tribe. We wouldn't be called Blackfoot if we were red. I'm also Cherokee and Seminole as well.
I did not know that.
So, yeah, and then I'm obviously Black. But technically, this is why we're divesting from the word African-American, as Blacks in this country that have been here over 500 years before Columbus got here. Every title that we've had that bestowed on us from someone else, right, including African American. That was pushed out through Jesse Jackson, through the Rainbow Coalition in the 80s. And there were a lot of people at first that took umbrage to that. Like if you called them African American, that was equivalent of the N-word to some people. Right. Because that's not what we are. We're not from Africa and then brought here like they teach you in school.
You're American. Yes, you're American.
Right.
Real American.
Right. And, there was no United States until we built it.
Exactly. You're 100% right. Like, who built this country? It was the people that were forced to be here, right?
Right. And we gave up it took 400 years of free labor to build the country up to where it was a table set for other immigrant groups to come here, from the Irish to the English. They came later, and they were marginalized when they were first brought in. So you know what it's like to be Black. And then they were offered the ability to assimilate into what was called whiteness. So at first, the Irish came in and they were marginalized, and then they were given the overseer position, and then they were given the police, and we need you to police these free Negroes. And that's where the term paddy wagon comes from. Mm-hmm. They had the first wagons that were used to round up free people. So that's why, like, when it comes to the fire department and the police department, as far as their origins and foundations, the Irish were police and the English were firemen. So that's why you get the red and the white with the fire trucks and all of that. So, and this is why even when they have their sports against each other, it's a racial undertone going on between those two groups. Now it's way more diversified and stuff, but we're
But
talking
when
about
it
the
started,
origins of it. So kind of to pull it full circle, like, for hundreds of years, people wonder why Black people have these games like the dozens, where we sit around and kind of like diss each other. Oh, your mother's so fat, blah, blah, blah. Your father's so Black. Why did we come up with those games? Because as we were approaching freedom, we understood the type of disdain and race baiting, things like that, because, again, the criminal court system wasn't created to house their own people. It was meant to lock us up in and then have us back in another form of free labor. So we had to basically build up thick skin. Meaning when you go out the house, be prepared to be called this, have objects thrown at you, and understand that you can't respond because the first thing that they're going to do is lock you up and throw you under the jail. So me being raised with that awareness of the past and then also having to deal with that in the 80s myself, depending on, like, everybody thinks, oh, up north is so inclusive. No, there's plantations right in the town I live in right now in Long Island. There's plantations right on Jamaica Avenue in Queens. There's a plantation house. So no, it wasn't any less racist in New York. New York is heavily segregated. That's why Staten Island, there's a bunch of Italians in one area and then a bunch of Blacks in another area. Long Island, one town is heavily Black or Spanish and then others are white. It's segregation and all of that, whether it's in your face or silent, it's just rule of thumb.
And I just real quick, I just watched I'm watching a documentary in Boston. I didn't realize how bad in Boston it is so segregated to the point where, like, people know not to go to different neighborhoods. That I didn't even know this. This is really bad in the 80s and early 90s. It's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely
that's how Mark Wahlberg got a little bit of stain on him, is because he was part of, the dudes that would run Black kids out of their neighborhoods, even though they had to go 2 towns over to school and all they're trying to do is get back home.
That's what they were saying on this. People would hit the buses, these poor kids, and the schools were so bad, and they would bus them in, and then they would go through certain towns, and they'd be like duck in the bus because people would throw rocks at the bus, and the poor kids had to deal with that at a young age. I mean, it's just freaking sad. And I mean, just to bring it into like what happened the other day, there's a lot of hurt out there, and a lot of us are older, and so when we see stuff like this, it hurts. And it hurts when people don't say anything. It hurts when people take a long time to say something. But take it from there, because I just wanted to bring it.
So to bring it forward, to understand a little bit of why my mentality is the way it is. Like, I have thick skin, and just because I see something or someone says something doesn't mean I have to react, and I don't have to react in the way that you want. Again, things said online don't hurt me personally. It's not part of my world. One individual doesn't change my reality. And that's one thing that, even in the physical world, when you walk out your house and you go to some mall and you're profiled there, then 5 of you are together. Oh my God, that's a gang. You can't conquer it. I've dealt with so much different stuff that seeing one dude, if people understand how vastly toxic Twitter is, how toxic video game lobbies and playing stuff. I hear little kids to grown men using the N-word all day.
Oh my God. I went off on somebody like 10 years ago on playing Call of Duty. And I went off. I mean, and I'm like, you're saying this in a public area? I yelled at the guy, but yeah, absolutely. It's still out there. And there's an undertone of this stuff that's going on.
See, now back to what you were saying about people and response times. From my own perspective, the way I feel about it is like nobody said anything because they were busy trying to interpret in which way he was speaking using the N-word, because it wasn't necessarily said a certain way. Oh, it didn't have the ER on it.
I mean,
This, that, and the third. And from my own perspective, you know, I wasn't sitting here scouring Twitter and worrying about it that much. I have a lot going on. But to me, a lot of people, while they were debating that alone, I didn't see a lot of people say anything. And it wasn't until something was said that affected their group or they felt umbrage to it, then they said something. But when it was all about the N-word, it was about a bunch of room of interpretation and did he mean it like this? And, oh, where did he grow up? And, you know, all of these are questions I guess you could have, but for me, it was irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For me, it's just no place for it, because if that is something that you say amongst your 5 friends that give you a pass, then you should have enough awareness to know, okay, this is where I'm able to say this word. And then for you to literally open up an app and start typing and tweeting stuff, that's a whole nother level. That's just a whole different thing.
That's freaking crazy.
Then to become a community manager or whatever he was, his job title wasn't community manager, whatever it was, but to have, you know, to either be in a position to where it was so long ago you forgot you said it, or to know that it was there and not care. Both of them are kind of reckless. Either way you slice that. So for me, all I could say, and here's another thing I never spoke on. I've never said this in spaces or anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I'll say it here. But I knew Ryan from the community because he would pop up in Twitter spaces, and I know that's where he was mainly popular amongst the community. And with me getting more active in spaces the last 4 or 5 months, I used to see him pop up in there. And one person I didn't expect to meet during Comic-Con and during Sanjay's party and all that was Ryan. I didn't expect him to be there. I don't know why. I know he's part of VeVe and everything. I just didn't expect, but he was there, you know, and I ended up meeting him, you know, shook his hand, the whole 9. He was happy to meet me. And, you know, when you grow up in the North, it's different than the South. In the South, there's blatant racism. Like when I moved to Florida, you know, I drove a U-Haul with a Ford Explorer hitched to the back. I had the biggest U-Haul you can get, you know, and I'm driving this big thing from New York to Florida. And I'll never forget, once I got out of Atlanta and into Florida, I think I was on I-95, and somewhere outside of Jacksonville, there was this, there was a huge Confederate flag off the side of the highway.
God. All over the just real quick, because I want you to finish the story. Because I know you lived in Tampa. I lived in Sefner. And every fucking time I get off, because I lived off of MLK.
Yes. Oh my God.
God, that fucking flag. There were so many times I'm like, I just want to shoot a burning arrow at that, because I had to see it every damn time I got off the sons and the daughters of the Confederate. Like, look, put it in a museum, all right, and see how bad it is. But we don't need that out here. You're not celebrating the Confederate. You're celebrating people who lost. I mean, I don't get it. And it was so racist. And that area was a mixed area. White, black, all of that. And so go ahead, but all over the damn state. And man, that pissed me off every goddamn day that I had to drive home from work and see that thing. Because this thing was like, I think they said they spent like 100,000 or 300. I mean, this thing was big.
It's huge.
It's one of the biggest in the world, I think.
Yeah, it's like house big.
Yes.
It's huge.
It's insane. It's still there.
Yes.
I don't know
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I was see, again, you know, there's so many different perspectives to have on this, depending on who you are and your own experiences. Even like a black person could feel just as furious as you. For me, I came to the state expecting to see it, because Atlanta's the same. Once you're in the South, there's these little enclaves, and certain states support it more than others, and it has certain different degrees of historical significance to different states and different counties and all of that. So I expected to see it. I didn't expect to see, you know, a house-sized one off the side of the highway, but I loved it. See, I'm totally opposite of you. I loved it, BE. Want to know why? Want to know why I love seeing
I
it?
do want to know why, but I'm sure you have a good.
Because I have been driving for like 6 hours straight and I had to take a piss so bad. And that let me know this is not the exit to get off.
Right, totally.
I wish I could see more of them so I know where to go and where not to. Because even here in Long Island, going back to what you were talking about before, they have what's known as sundown towns.
Right.
And if you're black and you're in a neighborhood and the sun is down, all bets is off. If you're caught in that neighborhood, they could do whatever to you. And good luck thinking you're going to go to the police and get help. Good luck. So, you know, any town, if anybody out there has a Levitt town in their state, just know that the Levitt's family, because we have one out here, and it's pretty much borders another town called Copeg, which at a certain time was definitely racist. You know, it was one of those sundown towns. And yeah, the Levitts, they bought different towns in different states, and all of those Levitt towns were originally sundown towns. You know,
was that those were, I thought it was Levittown, so it's Levittown. That was the one in New York, was like the first suburban neighborhood where it's planned, right? And okay, gotcha.
You got it.
It's mixed now though, but it wasn't then, correct? Or am I incorrect?
You're generally correct. It's just that, you know, Long Island has some of the highest property taxes in the United States. Like in Garden City, which is close to Queens, they're on par with Beverly Hills, for example.
Oh, wow.
Our police, Suffolk County police, are paid more than Nassau County police and New York City cops, and they're one of the highest paid in the nation as well. And there's way less action going on out here, especially, I mean, 80s and 90s was one thing, early 2000s is another thing. But at this point, it's not that much going on in Long Island. Like, they've pretty much driven a lot of people out of here. It's not that many job opportunities. And then you combine that with high housing costs and the property taxes. This is why most people that you do see with nice houses in Long Island, they commute to Manhattan for work. You know, and that's how you get that. But yeah, it's a multi-headed type of thing. And again, some people might have expected me to be one of the first people to come out and make a statement about Ryan. But back to my experience in meeting him and just the whole thing growing up, like in the South, like I said, the racism, they're more blatant with it. They might have signs. They might actually be emboldened enough to blatantly tell you what it is. Up north is way more politically correct, to where you're dealing with people that are in a situation where they have to interact with you, but how they feel about you and their core beliefs, that has to be suppressed to the back because they don't want to sacrifice their own livelihood. So what you deal with is like a lot of benign or passive aggressiveness, you know, to where someone will smile in your face, shake your hand, you know, oh, you're supposed to be so racist, you don't even want to touch me. You know, no, it's not like that here. So I'm used to someone being able to put a face on and a front on, and then, you know, a week later I hear, oh, they're really racist. I've dealt with that my whole life. From people that I see or work with or go to school with every day. And then all it takes is the one instance for it to come out and then show. But you may not see that for years later. It's like dating a girl. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, so
you find out stuff later. But you're right. Or they come up to you and say hi, and then they go back in and wherever, and they start, you know, spewing the bullshit.
There you go.
And it happens all the time. I mean, being in Missouri, you know, obviously during the Civil War, we're half and half, Mason-Dixon line, all that stuff. But it's still, you can definitely, it's out there. So like people who think it's gone or whatever, there's definitely people who are quiet about it. But it's in your face. And how you respond. And I wasn't like talking about like you, because even I think you said, I don't know when it was, your response was you didn't make a video, like you didn't make a video for the comic that everyone has their own way. And I think in your situation, it's a little different because I mean, you were the focus, not you personally, but that was the focus of community of who he was attacking. mostly. And like you said, then when everyone said like, oh my God, he like literally hates everyone. Like the only one he doesn't hate is himself. And maybe he does hate himself. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that was what the point of my video was, that I was super disappointed because if you got to have morals, you got to stand up for people. And if you're not willing to do that, like no matter what the consequences are, then who are you as a person? And again, I say in the video, that doesn't make me better that I did it and other people didn't. It's disappointing. It's kind of like the thing, like I paid my child support. It's something everyone should do. It's like, it should have been done anyways. Like there should be no props for anyone for doing it. Everyone should have just come out and been like, no, we don't accept this as a community, because, no matter what his reasoning was, he's this person in the forefront. Again, if he's in the mailroom, I don't care as much, right? Like, we're not going to even know. We wouldn't even know who he was. But if he's going to be out in the front for VeVe and representing them, you can't have that. No effing way. No effing way.
Right. I mean, I just wanted to evaluate the situation on multiple levels, and that's what pretty much had me not respond right away, because I not only have to see what VeVe is going to do about it, if anything. I want to see how fast or slow it takes for them to do something or say something. It was a lot I was waiting for, because I was like you, my first stage was not making a video. I said, okay, so I'm not going to make a video. Now, after, tomorrow's drop, or, this happened already, I said, okay, if VeVe still doesn't say anything, I'm going to start listing stuff for sale. That's it.
And I did. You should have seen me Tuesday night when, and I don't, and actually I want to know how you feel. I was like blown away that VeVe said anything, because I literally that night, the night before they said anything in the morning, or they said it that night, but I was preparing to fucking go ape shit on my stream. I was selling stuff already. And I'm like, because, I had a little banter with Kryptoni. He was very upset about this. And he's like, I'm taking note of, everyone who didn't say anything. Right. And not just like people in the community. And one of the things I see, Ronnie's asking who like released it. And I think I know who did, but I don't think it even matters. Like, I know this excuse of the Fudders were releasing it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who found it. It was found. And if they're going to, erase your shit, if you got some stupid stuff out there, make amends. But like, so how did you feel? How did you feel about the way VeVe dealt with it?
First off, I just want to shout out Kid Arcade, because he did speak on this during the live, and then he made another video. His answer to this all is just hire a black guy.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. It's not very diverse there. They do need to.
No. And I mean, like I told Arcade, or was you, I was like, I don't know how many alley-oops I got to give them, but I mean, I'm in these dudes' faces. You're not going to come to New York and not see me, and I've been, rejected face-to-face VeVe logos 2 years in a row.
Damn logo. Exactly, right?
My brother, Crypto Pro, who was one of the first content creators for VeVe, regardless of what anybody says about Taps Trades and all these other dudes, Crypto Pro was one of the first, if not the first. And he never got a cheesy light VeVe Light logo. And all the people that got one, they're not even streamers anymore. And yet we're still here, and I created my YouTube channel during the bear market. You know what I mean? I didn't jump on when it was all-time highs going on. It's easy to do that.
When you're guaranteed to make it, right? Like I watched Kid Arcade struggle to get to his 1,000 when he should have been there like 6 months to a year before that, because he's such a good content creator. Same with you, with all of us struggling just to figure out, and to help VeVe and them not give back to you or him. And like,
thank you, Ronnie.
Just to say, like, I agree that you should have the best person from the position. The problem I see, and I don't, is that they're not looking everywhere to make sure they're finding the right person. Because to say that, somebody looks better than me, that's how I'll refer to black people, because I just hate having to define people that way. I mean, you may disagree, but people who look better than me should not have to fight to be looked at. And I think a lot of people think, well, these companies just need to look at everyone. And I don't know. It drives me nuts. There's a lot of people who feel like you can't find somebody good.
Right.
I don't know.
Like I said, I've thrown him multiple alley-oops. Before Ryan had tweeted out that there were positions available, he sent that tweet out at like 11:59 at night. For whatever reason, I don't know why, I was looking at jobs that same morning, just out there. Found a position open with Chainlink that I applied for, and then something came in my head and was like, "Hey, just see if VeVe is hiring." And when I looked it up, there was several positions there. I felt like, okay, I may not have the most experience in this, but I have some, and others. I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of experience in this, and then everything in between. So I applied for like 4 to 5 different positions that morning. And then I was like, I don't know if this is real or not. I don't know what's going on, because the site I was on, the job postings were facilitated through a third-party company called AC Lion. So I wasn't sure if it was official or not. And then it was like, wow, to my chagrin, at 11:59 that night, he tweeted out one position in particular, and then it led you to the site and you can see the rest. So don't get me wrong, like they had stuff for, I think, UD designer and all types of stuff that was way out my league. So I didn't apply for that. But I may not have experience in being a community manager, but I have a very good understanding of what goes into it and what's involved. So I applied for it. And then there were other things I applied for. One of them, it wasn't blatantly like obvious that this is what the role was because of the way they titled it. But basically, like, I ran it by Corey, and he was like, "Oh, that's literally an assistant position for what I do."
Right.
So he was like, if you were to get hired, we would be direct coworkers doing that. So it was like basically video editing, and stuff like that. It's just to like lighten his workload a little, because he has to do everything from the research to making the videos to editing them, and it's a lot. Like there's times that they'll tell him about it. Like people might wonder, like, why didn't he make a video for this, but he has a video for that? What happens a lot of the time is he'll do a bunch of research, make the video, but then, like you were speaking on yesterday, it has to go through Disney and Marvel. And then they might kick it back and tell him, okay, we want you to add this verbiage, take this part out, do this, do that. By the time he makes those adjustments and then resubmits it, and he's waiting, the drop might happen. So he did all of that for nothing.
Yep. It's because I did a video that got vetted by Disney and it got rejected. And I'm like, why even waste my time? It's just like, it's a lot of hard work to get them, because they have certain things and, they have a certain way that they do it. So, yeah. And hire qualified people, but be diversified. Diversify as Kid Arcade. Absolutely. Like you can find people who are qualified. Like, it's this idea that you got to get, if there's an A+ and an A, okay, I don't know, you can diversify, and still get highly qualified people, And
not only that, I mean, there are plenty of companies out there that just in the verbiage of their job post, they might have certain things that says X, Y, and Z is preferred but not required. And what that tells me is they're not looking for the like super perfect person that checks every single box. Sometimes you need people that are just good people but highly trainable. There's a thing to training people up. Just because you hire someone doesn't mean you have to like throw them out to the community and be like, oh, this is who we got on board. Like you could just silently hire someone and groom them in the background and then make your announcement when they're ready, or whatever.
Like with you, because you would be great for, let's say, supporting Corey. You make good videos, absolutely. You have knowledge on everything, and anything you don't know, you could learn. You're a smart guy. You can learn how to do it. You'd be given the tools, because I know Corey had tools that he had, but like once VeVe got involved, they had the money to get him all the tools that he needed.
Yes.
I agree. So even if you weren't, let's say, the absolute best person, that's where you could say you're a big person in the community and you deserve obviously hiring from the community, but I'm only seeing one type of, people getting hired. Right. And that is a little bit of a problem. I think that's a little bit of a problem. It's a lot of bit of a problem, actually.
Right. So Ronnie said he needs to see my eyes more. It's early in the morning over here for me, but here my eyes are. And that's another thing, I have some corneal issues. So I walk around with these Louis V shades on all day, every day, even inside my house, because I have vision issues. And then on top of that, I have issues with light. So especially when I'm live streaming and got multiple lights on me, it's almost impossible to do
Do you
anything
get
with that.
headaches, by the way, when
Oh
you have
yeah.
all those?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. And
see,
I
that's
don't get headaches. So that's how I knew it was related to the light.
so it does because if you saw that, I did go through a period where I was wearing glasses and everyone's like, take them off. Like it's because I had a ring light here.
Yep.
I got rid of the ring light. I got these two big lights. I pulled them back a little bit. That ring light was killing me. But go ahead because I understand.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
but you're yeah.
yeah. But that's everyone wants
I hear your phone going off.
getting the call.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to hop off cam real quick because I gotta go see what's going on with something real quick. But
Go
I'm
hop
still
on
here.
and I'll be here when you get back.
I'm
And I'll
still here.
talk
I'm
to you.
still here. I'm still
Okay.
here. I might have to mute up. I just gotta go inside my crib, see why the hell somebody's calling me real quick. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
so I was thinking about that too, Ronnie. Like, even from an outside perspective, like, because I watch a lot of content and all of that, and I say, like, people that do show their eyes, you do get a better connection with them. So that's something I've definitely been aware of, and yeah, trying to figure out a way to do that, to have that more relatable contact with people. Um,
Might be contacts, but those can be expensive.
yeah,
The ones that
exactly.
I
That's
have.
what I'm working on now. I mean, I really have to get surgery, but who the hell
Yeah.
wants to get lasers and needles poked in their eyes while they're awake? Like,
That freaks me out. I always
yeah,
thought about that.
yeah. So I'm not really,
And it's expensive. And
yeah,
you can get injured because I
you
probably
can.
need to get Lasix too, but I'm a
Right,
little worried also.
right, right. Exactly. So yeah, so I mean, that's something I'm definitely aware of. I would love to show my eyes a lot more, but yeah, it's a trade-off with, do you want headaches for 2 days after you do that?
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, this is all good stuff. I in the end, and because I all the hiring stuff, but like in the end, what do you feel about, because I had a little issue with the timing of VeVe, but I've seen other stuff with other companies who were getting crap from people. There are some other issues that maybe we don't understand as just mere mortals, right? These businesses, there's things they have to do legally and coming up with statements. What do you think about their timing? And did their response in the end satisfy you, or satisfy you a little bit? Or, what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, I'm speaking to somebody in my house. Say that again.
Oh, okay. Just as far as your response, VeVe's response, the timing,
Mhm.
and what they said, was that satisfying? Did you think that was good enough for you? It's a start. Maybe it's just a start. Like, what do you feel about it? Because I do think the hiring stuff is part of the process here. But other than that, what do you think?
Now, are you talking about their response to me in email saying I didn't get the job?
No, not that at all.
For the
No.
Ryan?
To the Ryan thing. Yeah. I mean,
Well, I would say
obviously
that
you weren't happy about the no
I would.
emails to the hire, but yeah.
I don't hold the timing necessarily against them. I think that it was maybe within 48 hours that they sent their response. I also had to take into account that they're based in New Zealand, a whole different time zone, and I think that's why their response came out, as far as Eastern Standard Time, it came out like 11 p.m. that night. That might have been 9 a.m. for them. I have no idea. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you might be
expect
right.
them to issue a statement hastily, and I wouldn't expect them to
Right.
do it based on our time. So if that comes from David Yu, and then it has to be reviewed, and then blah blah blah, like, it's gonna take time. And then not only that, they have to figure out what they're doing with him. Like, just because, okay, you want to fire him, there's still other stuff to be worked out. I think you were saying, like, maybe he gets some sort of pension or unemployment or something like that. So all of that has to still be worked out in the background. And that's going to take a couple hours of back and forth, especially if it's daytime here, but nighttime over there. Who knows, So timing, it wasn't too late, and it wasn't immediate either, so
Right.
I I don't know, I really didn't look at it that deeply as a big thing, but
As far as the
I think
timing, but was the response at least, because to me that was big, because to me that let the content creators and the people in the community realize, wait a second, this is messed up. Even though I know it was a business decision, I don't know how much of it was a moral decision. A lot, I expect that from businesses. They're here to make money.
right.
That's the only my timing, but I understand they definitely need to make sure this is real, wasn't doctored. Even because I did it the day before, after I said something about it, I started worrying, like, oh shit, what if that was doctored and it wasn't correct?
Right.
So I understand that they have to do it, but then it just kept on rolling and going throughout the day. And then by the next day, VeVe saying something at whatever it was, 10 o'clock at night or whatever. So it wasn't terrible. But I just don't know how, because in my video, I say that, I was satisfied, but it doesn't matter what I feel. It matters what the whole community feels. And so that's why I asked you if you were satisfied by the response and how they're going to move forward with this.
Yeah, I would just say that I don't know how you're a tech company and in the space you're in, where like if there's anywhere that egregious comments are made and stick to someone's profile, I would say it's Twitter and Facebook. So I don't know how you have a hiring process that doesn't include scraping.
I know, right?
Exactly. And again, as for him having the position he had for as long as he had it, I don't know how or why you don't go back and destroy that stuff. And if you don't destroy it on purpose and you know that it's only a matter of time before someone sees it, then you would think you would have a prepared stance and statement on that for when it came up. And it should have been more along the lines of like you or Cade were saying, where it's like, yo, I was younger, which is not an excuse, but it was used in the circles I was in. I've grown. You haven't heard me use these types of words. I have these stances since I was X, Y, and Z years old and said whatever I said. It was just different ways you could approach it if that was a reality. So the statement he made left a lot of holes and things to be desired as far as like his response. But like I said, I personally didn't see it coming because again, this is someone I just met like a month or two ago face to face, and we were about to take pictures in the whole nine. I didn't take a picture with him at the party, but it was so hectic. I might have taken a. I don't honestly. I don't even remember.
Out there.
It might be. Right. You know what I mean, and that's fine. I don't give a shit because that's what I mean. Is like all the symbolic shit, all the shit that you see. It doesn't mean anything. Just because someone shakes your hand and treats you nice doesn't have anything to do with what they really think about you or your community. It's just what's going on right then and there, and it's a part of business. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has to be cool with everybody, or at least present that face, and that's what you and that's what you deal with when you live where I live in New York. And all these northern states. You literally deal with that every day. People smile in your face, stab you in the back, or really feel a different way. Whereas in the South, you just know what it is. And I respect that more than hiding and sugarcoating stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very,
I agree.
Yeah. So I personally, I love the Confederate flags. I love them because that lets me know where I'm at.
Sign, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and I agree, but where I live, that was what was weird, is it wasn't a warning sign because it was a very safe, mixed, middle class area. So it was a little different there, but it was still just as disgusting. And the fact that anyone, I think it actually was like $300,000 for that Confederate flag. That just blows my mind that anyone would waste their money on that. But then to also to me, that's a big middle finger to a lot of people, but especially, a certain group. They know what they're freaking doing, right? They know what they're doing. There's nothing to do with that they care about anything but being, in my opinion, racist. So that's what I think.
Because out here, they'll do it in a different way. Like, don't get me wrong, there's obviously black people who support Trump, right? But at a
Right.
certain point in his tenure, Trump represented that community to a degree. And it's not that he wanted to necessarily, it's that they attached themselves to him
Right.
because of certain things he might do or say that makes them feel like, oh, his
This is
beliefs
okay.
are right, his beliefs are aligned with our beliefs. So this is our guy. So what you'll see out here is people with pickup trucks, right? So that's
Right.
one symbol. Then they got an American flag on the back, or maybe even a defacing flag, meaning it's black and white or all these weird colors that the flag should not be.
Right.
And then they'll have, a pole with that on the flag on the truck, and then they'll have another one that says Trump. So you mix that together and you kind of get a picture of the culture and type of vibe this person is on.
Right.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you'll see a whole convoy of these dudes roll around on Sundays with their flags and all this stuff. But then where I used to live in Long Island, you would never even see them in that town because it's an all black town. So they know where to galvanize and where to, where all the like-minded individuals are. They know,
Right.
and they pretty much keep that in their little corners. But then you got things like, all the neo-Nazis that were out front of Disney. They were on one of the overpasses. So it's Florida, because of their leadership, it's becoming a safe haven and a dog whistling effect. Like, oh, if this is what you believe, move here.
Right.
Because you're protected under the law and this and that, and stand your ground works for you, but not someone black. And,
Right.
all
Exactly.
these
Right.
different things. Oh, we're not racist, but we're taking all black history out of the school books, and so
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
crazy.
many levels to it, of, it's like a passive aggressive type of situation.
No, I agree. Just the whole thing. Again, I'm happy Vivi came out. I'm happy this was taken care of. I just moving forward, and I hope we can all heal, and like I say, we all heal at different times. But just in the future, if this was to happen again, I just would hope we'd hear more from some of the influential people in here, because that will mean it will create a situation where things will happen quicker. It means a lot. And to be a person who says, well, I just don't want to get involved, I don't want to offend anyone, that's bullshit. Because at some
Right,
point you got to have some balls,
right,
and you got to realize when something's wrong, it's wrong,
right,
and you got to be willing to risk it. That's just what I hope we can all learn from
right,
this. And
right.
also you to get hired at VeVe. We're gonna have to like set up a tweeting campaign so we can
Absolutely.
get you get you a job there, because I agree. I mean, you've been to their events. It doesn't seem like there's much diversity, and I could be wrong. Maybe there is. I don't. Where are most of their hires? Are they in New Zealand? Are they? I don't know.
It's,
Obviously,
it's a mixed bag because at certain points, when it came to designing the collectibles, they were hiring independent people from India, whatever, just to get certain jobs done.
right,
Like when they lost Trevor, and then that evolved into a more,
right,
permanent contracting type of thing, I guess. And now I see a straight up position for it where they're trying to solidify a certain person to do these things. So, it's a startup company. I don't expect them to do things a traditional way. But
right,
but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much diversity other than you could say women, but that's a big thing that has always been shoehorned. Like black people in this country, our history is that we fight for things, for the right for things, and then other groups get attached onto it at the last minute because of the goodness of our hearts. We're very embracing community, as far as sharing our culture and the fight for rights. So
right,
white women are part of what you would call a minority. So when people jump up and let's say we're talking about affirmative action, at one point you had the Asian community saying, oh, we can't get into these colleges because there's a bunch of unqualified black people getting accepted into college under affirmative action. So they fought with white people to dead affirmative action. Okay,
right.
cool. We know that we get in there based on our merits. If you're black in this country and you're trying to do something, make something of yourself and be, contribute to society, you know that whether it's scholastically or even in a job workplace, you got to do double what
I
someone
was
else
going to
is
say, you
doing.
have to work harder
Right.
to
You have
get
to
to the
do
same
double
place.
just to get to the
That is,
same place,
yeah,
just to hit
exactly.
an invisible glass ceiling on top
Hmm.
of that. So now the position from the Asian community is like, yo, we're not getting into these colleges because there's no affirmative action. So now it backfired. And that's what happens under the guise of white supremacy. You know what I mean? White supremacy is cooked and baked into every institution and anything that's systemic in the country, believe it
Right.
or not. So now they're sitting there saying, now we can't get into these schools. Well, now it's based on merit. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't, this is what you fought for. Now,
Right.
now they're backtracking and saying they need affirmative action. And we never, this is why when they took it away, they expected a bunch of black people to be jumping up like, hey, you can't do that. And that's why people are shocked that our community's quiet. Want to know why? Because we never got in based on that.
Right.
Once you're called a minority, that includes a whole bunch of different other race classes, and it includes white women. So when they use these terms like, oh, they'll try and do something like, let's even say reparations or something. And when you really read the verbiage, they'll all of a sudden they'll start off black, 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 and then when you get to the meat of it, and they start talking about who they're gonna pay out to, they could say anything from um, people of color. They could use keywords like underserved communities, black and brown communities, and things like that. And once you start using those keywords, you're really not talking black anymore. Now you're talking, it could be Asian, it could be Indian. All these groups are called minorities, yet they might own the majority of the businesses and things like that. Like we've been phased out of home ownership, land, business owning. It's not to say someone's standing in your way, but trust me, it's a whole other ball game when you're talking trying to get funding, trying to get a mortgage, all these different things.
Well, and can I say something on that? Because I think a lot
Sure.
of people don't understand the advance, and you can answer Bruin here after this if you want to. I'll leave that up for a second. The housing thing is freaking huge. It's still an issue now, but what you have to look at, like in any family, let's say you were a white family who 100 years ago had a house, right? They were able to have a house and pass it on and pass it on. And that house had a lot of value, right?
Yes.
If you were areas were red district, like we're not going to allow black people to buy here.
Hmm.
It's be hush hush, but
Yep.
we're going to make sure they don't come in here.
Yep.
And you were never able, because that usually is a family's biggest wealth is their
Yes.
house.
Yes.
And that is, I think that's what people have to understand about where a lot of the unfairness comes in, is that the inability to own homes or own them in certain areas, because where I grew up, there were kids who were bussed in. And I remember one girl in a class, I might have even said this in one of these before. She said, you guys just don't understand. Like, we could afford to live in your area,
Hmm.
but we don't feel comfortable there. And because
Hmm.
we're not going to be accepted, we're going to have issues if we live there. So
Yep.
we live, where we live because of that. And they got bussed in. And I didn't think people understood that. So not being able to buy in certain areas, to have houses that had a lot of value in them to go
Right.
up, that's a
Right.
problem. That is a
Right.
problem.
And so, I mean, there's been examples over and over again of like a black couple who was in a very wealthy neighborhood. They built their house from scratch. They bought a lot first, built it from scratch. They put it on the market years later. They comped it reasonable to other properties that sold in the area. And when it got appraised, it got appraised for less. All of those things. And then they pulled the listing down. And then they worked with a white friend that they had, and they
Mm-hmm.
relisted it, and the person showing the house was white, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden everything was what it should be.
Yep. They did
And
a 2020 on that, I think, too, where they did an
right,
undercover thing
yeah,
about that exact thing in the 80s.
oh
And
yeah, I mean,
that's a problem. I mean, imagine if you have, your family isn't rich, right? But they have a house that's worth 250,000 and they pass
mhm,
away and they can pass you on that money and you go start a business. Think of how many people did that. And if you aren't given that opportunity, it's not that everyone deserves a house or whatever. Like literally, a lot of people were put in a situation where they couldn't buy where they wanted to, or they weren't allowed to buy at all. So, you know, it's something that
what
needs to be
happened.
thought about. Yeah.
That's what happened in Long Island as well. You know, it's heavily segregated. People think just because you're in the north, there's no segregation. That's furthest from the truth. Like my parents, you know, came from Baltimore. You know, I have roots in different states. And eventually my parents and their parents moved to New York. My mother grew up in Harlem, Polo Grounds area. Same with my father. Eventually they bought a house in Queens, Jamaica, Queens, Farmers Boulevard. And, you know, as they said, you know, as the saying goes, they lifted themselves up by the bootstraps, which is really hard to do when they don't even give you the boots. But
right, or the strap, right?
right. So so eventually, you know, they were part of the working class. My father worked for what was then known as Bell South or Bell
Oh yeah.
Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
And
The baby bells, yeah.
right. And then my mother was she was into aeronautic defense. She worked for a company called Parker Gull, which is a direct competitor of Grumman and Skunk Works.
Right.
And it was a fast developing industry out here in Long Island. Like the Long Island has one of the first industrial parks in America, you know, where it's a bunch of warehouses and manufacturing going on and electronic development, stuff like that. So my mother worked on microchips and things like that.
Good
And
business.
that's what allowed them to be able to afford to move to Long Island. So they could have moved not anywhere in Long Island, but you're obviously going to take all those factors we spoke on into account. Like, are you living with your own people or is it going to be in a different community? What's going on? And basically, like, there's two towns that are close to each other. One is Central Islip and the other is Brentwood. So people might have heard of Brentwood. If you're involved with hip hop, the 80s, that's where Biz Markie, EPMD is from. And then you have Central Islip, which where I lived on the border. If you walk to the end of my block and cross over the main road, you're in Brentwood. But to us, it was just all the same. And they mainly funneled Spanish people into Brentwood and they funneled Black people into Central Islip. Now, depending on your economic status, that would determine where in Central Islip you could move. So in the late 70s, my parents, like the house I grew up in, it was a high ranch house, probably, what was it, 3, 4, 5, like 5 to 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You know, high ranch 2-floor property. All the houses in my area were built like that. And, you know, you had to have an obvious certain income level to afford that month after month.
Right.
So, you know, opposite of the misnomer that, and I won't say it's not true now more than back then, but back then you were more likely to find nuclear family setup going on. You know, like none of my friends didn't have a father in their house. You literally needed 2 to 3 incomes to afford even living there. Like
That's
my grandmother lived in my house,
like
right?
Now,
and that's the norm now, right?
Yeah.
So back then, like my grandmother, she worked at Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx. She had a house in Staten Island, and then she also put in on getting our house in Long Island. So, she lived on the bottom floor. My brother lived on the bottom floor. You know, and then they moved, my brother and my sister moved out while I was still very young. They're more than 10 years older than me. So I kind of grew up, you know, as a loner, you know what I mean? I didn't have my brother and sister growing up much in the house. So yeah, that was the makeup of the community pretty much. And it was that old school neighborhood where all, you know, because when I was growing up, the house next to me was vacant. They built it, but no one lived there. Someone moved in there, you know, so our area was called the New D, meaning the new development. And it kind of was looked at as like, oh, those are those uppity Negroes. You know what I mean? If you lived on the other side of town, which was Lowell Avenue, that's where like Keith Murray, LOD is from. You know, the houses are very small. You could tell they were built in probably the 50s or 60s, whereas our houses were brand new from scratch. You know, before we moved there, my family was showing me the plans, like, where do you want this tree planted? What type of grass do you want? Like when we moved there, it was just dirt, you know, and they had the little strings in the ground and they had to lay down the moss first and all of that, you know, and I just grew up in a different time. Back when I was growing up, Black people dominated construction work. You know, a Black person, you'd be hard pressed to find a grown Black man that didn't know how to work on a car, also wasn't a painter, also could make a house from scratch, you know, like, so us not having all of these skills now, from my generation, we were duped into the whole, oh, go to college, get a degree. And it's like, yeah, you go and get a degree just to go into a workforce that's racist.
Right.
So now you're carrying around all this debt. Like my sister has a master's and all of this different stuff, and she's working regular menial jobs.
Everyone, I can tell you, everyone has gotten screwed. Just real quick, I think now things like I know where I live, whatever, it's definitely getting more diversified, where it was more white, 30, 40 years ago. So people are getting like, I don't know about in New York, but I know here, like, there are super successful people that are moving into these neighborhoods. It's becoming diverse, and the prices, people aren't getting screwed on the prices. I think things are changing. It's so slow. Noah's asking, what's the point? I mean, look, I'm letting Doctor talk here because, we're talking about what Ryan, who worked for VeVe, what that brings up into people. And plenty of people were hurt by what he said, but it brings up these feelings of, like, in Doctor's situation, things that's happened his whole life. Because Doctor and I are the same age, 47. Am I right? Right, we're the same age. We certainly, we grew up in different areas, but we've observed, some of the same things in our life. And so I think it's important to hear what he's saying, whether you want to hear it or not. But I think the point is that there's still a lot of issues out there, and whenever people like Ryan come out, and I still think we should not be bothering him now. It's over. I don't think people should be giving him crap. Just let him be. He got fired, but like, we need to. It brings up these feelings. They come back, and that's what this has done. It just brings up these feelings again, and I don't think it's a pity thing. But yeah, go ahead.
To incorrigible goat slayer. He said the typical NYC mindset. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know what the typical mindset is, and this is also why I don't jump out the window and speak on these things, because I already know that most people who are not Black, this seems to be the thing that they throw around through social media, and these are regurgitated. I hate to say it, but these are white supremacist viewpoints. I'm not saying that you are a white supremacist, but this is what comes out of the mouth of suspected white supremacists, because this is where these rebuttals and things come from. And unless you're over 40 years old, you really haven't experienced things in your lifetime that directly will correlate with the things I'm speaking on. So it's not a defeatist mindset or anything like that. We have the most history of fighting and repelling racism in this country. You know what I mean? And other groups tag along and receive the benefits. And what happens is when the smoke clears, we're still left at the bottom, not receiving anything that we fought for. So going back to the term minority and affirmative action, this is why women, white and Black women, hold the most degrees in the United States. There's a reason for that. And that didn't happen until after affirmative action started. So where do Black men fit into all of this? You know what I'm saying? We're technically the main ones at the bottom. So again, I don't expect everyone to understand, because everyone has their own viewpoints. Age plays a part in things. Their own experiences play a part. So I know what I know. My community knows what we know, because we lived through it. And other people have their own viewpoints on it and make their own assessments of what they're hearing. If you think us fighting for reparations, for example, is asking for a handout, then that's your perspective. But just know you're not educated enough to understand that it's a debt that's owed. It's not like the government didn't say they were going to pay us back. So no, if 5 generations ago, my family broke into your family's house and stole a bunch of family heirlooms, money, stole your land, and all of that. If your family was part of a community that was marginalized and couldn't fight back and get their stuff back, but here we are generations later and we're in a better position to fight for it, yeah, we're going to fight for what was due to our ancestors.
By the way, what was that? Go ahead.
The same way as you were talking about housing and wealth. Like, my family in particular fought in every war in this country, going back to the Civil War.
Right.
So even going up to World War II, I, I have family members that fought over there, died over there, fought for Jews, even in Germany, and came back home to no housing under the GI Bill. And a bunch of white families got propped up under the Homestead Act. We were locked out of that. So when you're talking about generational wealth, a lot of people are still living off of land and properties. And we were locked out of that.
Absolutely. By the way, there was something recently, I think it was over the summer. It was a black family that owned, and I don't, maybe you remember the story. They owned like this most amazing property on the ocean. I don't remember where it was, but they went through court and everything, and they got the property back. It was worth like $30 million or something. Like, so that has happened. I think the problem, there's a lot of younger people too that just don't understand. This is obviously a very deep subject, right? And so maybe a lot of people aren't really into that. This is very deep, but because we're older, we've seen things that maybe people don't see them as clearly. I hope things are a little bit better than they were in the 90s. They were pretty bad, and all before that. Obviously, we've seen some some stuff coming back up as far as racism, but as far as what I'm seeing, like in the workforce and people starting to make money, what I'm seeing, at least, it's a little bit more diverse. I'm hoping it's a lot more diverse than it was in the 90s or in the 80s, because it was really bad. Because I'm seeing diverse groups in very important, very powerful positions, making a lot of money, living in good areas. It's just, by not having having even just a house to pass down to your children, or your great grandparents to pass down to your grandparents, who pass it down to your parents, and then to you. That's a lot of money that is gone. So the feeling, I understand. I understand the feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that statement that Bruin made. I've heard that before, that white men are at the bottom. I personally don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not true. But I mean, every lane of opportunity is open when you're white. I mean, most people, I am tapped in with the streets to know enough white people that are homeless, on drugs, different things. And when I talk to these people, they have families who have houses. They talk to people, they have family that has wealth. It's just that they made life decisions that got them kind of black sheeped and kicked out of the family. And now they're living a reality that they really don't have to live. And at the end of the day, when I apply for a job and that resume comes over your wire, I have a Muslim sounding name. So automatically, if you have a disposition against Muslims or blacks, I'm already typecasted just from you reading my name. Whereas if my name was John Smith, they don't know what I am. And they're most likely going to entertain my resume. So from my own perspective, I don't see the glass ceiling as saying white men are at the bottom with black men. I don't see that in my daily reality. I don't see that in the workforce. I'll say that white women might be, because of affirmative action and other laws, might be propped up in positions that we may not normally see. Like when I work in corporate jobs, 9 times out of 10, the office manager is a woman, HR person is a woman. There's just certain positions. But then when you start talking that upper echelon, the CEO and VP, those are usually white men. Like I haven't really ran into a white dude that's like, yo, I applied for this position and I know, they saw my name and they were like, damn, he's probably white, so we ain't hiring him. Most of the people hiring you are white. So I don't know how you're white and a man and going through the same plight as a black man who every time you turn on the TV, they'll over amplify something that, egregious that a black person is doing, when if you lived in the Midwest, you might see that same crime committed by a white person, but it's less amplified. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know how to gauge all of that. I don't have answers for all of that. But yeah, that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Florida, I was battling 2 things. I was battling not only my name sounding Muslim, which depending on when in this country you're applying for a job, having a Muslim name was serious taboo. If you're talking anywhere close to 9/11, forget it. So imagine, even if my name sounded normal or Americanized, just once they read I'm from New York, they look at my work history, New York, they have a disposition against Northerners. So I was, you know what I mean? I
Right.
was, I had multiple battles to fight. I couldn't get a job in Florida for over a year. And the only reason I got a job that I got was because a neighbor ended up moving across the street, and he had a pretty high ranking position in the company he worked for, and he pulled me in.
And he
Other
knew
than that, it
you,
was
and he
crickets.
realized there was nothing wrong. You're a good person,
Right.
but I
Well,
can see that. I could
he was
definitely see
black
where.
himself. He was black himself, but this guy had like military and all types of like ill
Mhm.
credentials and shit. To it's like, oh, okay. Well, if you're trying to just hire the best you can, I could see
Right.
why they hired him. Me, I was just going for a regular, sales position, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, it was literally crickets for a year. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm kind of going through that now, and I'm in New York. But positions I'm applying for, let's say you're applying for a remote work position, you're not just battling Americans, you're battling people globally now.
That's a whole other problem
That's
because
a
you're
whole
battling
lot.
people who can work for a lot less, and
That too.
that is a whole big issue. Let me. I hate to cut this short because I actually got to talk to Doctor offline,
Hmm.
and I don't know if we're going to be. Mo said we were supposed to do a PFL stream, and I hate to cut this short, and maybe we can do this again. But why don't you give him some final words so we can talk after this? A timing issue is the only reason I hate to cut you off early because I think this is important. You want to give some final words of what you feel, and then we'll say goodbye to the chat because I appreciate everyone come by and everyone who stayed and has listened to this. I think it's important. It's important for us to all hear each other and understand all this. So why don't you give them some last thoughts, and then we can get out and then we can talk.
Okay, cool. I really see supposed to say great sermon, Doctor. I'm not, I don't really have much words. I'm not good at closing statements and stuff. I would need to like prepare stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, I just appreciate everybody in the chat and Ruins My Peoples, Ronnie, we can all have, and this is why I value you guys so much, is because we could have differences of opinion and still have the wherewithal to understand. Like, we're still
Amen.
together, man. You know what I'm saying? I might say something that might offend someone white, but you got to understand, like, I speak from a standpoint of either experience or facts. And the facts that I have, they're going to come from off the grid. If you're relying on your high school education and middle school education to understand Black history, you're lost, because you got to understand, when someone can control the story, his story, and control the narrative, they're never, the people that you want to keep marginalized at the bottom, you're never going to tell the great stories of all the Black inventors. I mean, we use things every day that were invented by Black people.
The
And you
light
got to
bulb.
understand
The light bulb was
the
what
light
was it? The
bulb.
filament. The filament for
Yes,
that. We wouldn't
Lewis
have light.
Latimer.
Yeah.
Right, Lewis Latimer had his stuff stolen, and back in those times, we weren't allowed to even apply for patents like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your doorknob, your modern day doorknob, the traffic light, GPS. There's so many things, but this stuff is not going to be highly thrown out there, and it's damn sure not going to be in textbooks like that. Especially with all this CRT stuff, and So growing up, I never was taught to strictly rely on that. Like, I had firsthand stories. Like, my great great uncle Tyler, he was the architect for Disney in Florida. So technically,
Wow.
nobody in my family should ever have to pay for Disney tickets,
Yeah, I would
ever.
say, right?
But
Wouldn't
the
that be
problem
nice?
is, my family is so disjointed and spread across everywhere, and then you get this family that marries into that family, so now the last name changes, and if you all
Mm.
don't know each other that well, there's a disconnect, and that's what I'm dealing with my family. Like, I lost most of my immediate family, my parents, my grandparents, most of my uncles, aunts, everybody's gone. And I have a sister that lives way in Seattle, which I said, before. She's over 15 years older than me. I didn't grow up with her. My brother is one of New York State's first predicate felons. He left the house at 13 years old, went back to the city, so he was around Supreme Team, all the hustlers of the 80s. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Anybody that you hear stories of, my brother knows them. You know what I mean? From AZ,
right.
Uptown, all the way to Queens, Supreme Team. So that was his life. I knew my brother for the first 18 years from you're receiving a collect call from upstate correctional facility. Do you accept it? I knew my brother through the phone. I didn't meet him till I was 19 years old. So it's a lot of disconnect in my family. And so, a fist is more powerful than an open hand, right? So it's like, we don't help ourselves in that regard. And then you got other Black families that are very well connected, and things like that. So you get, and all races deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't really have any parting statements, words
No, I
like
think
that,
that was
man.
good. I mean, like you said, this is good that we can hear stuff. We might not agree with everyone on everything, but we're still friends here. It's important to hear. I think it was important to hear your thoughts. Like I said, there was a lot of people that were hurt by what he said, but some of it was directed more towards one group than others. And but I think this. Yeah, go ahead.
You deal with people that, and again, like I said, I had these experiences my whole life. When you deal with people that show you one thing, you have to understand that there's two sides to a coin, right? So for me, I didn't feel hurt. That didn't hurt me, what he said. What I felt was disappointment. And that's all you could feel in somebody that presented one face to you, but then only, they turn around and show you the other face. You just feel hurt, like not hurt, but disappointed in the person. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I felt disappointment that, he may not even feel comfortable using this word in any setting anymore at his current age. But where I feel disappointment is that at some point in his life, he did think it was okay to speak and use those words and those terms, and that he didn't have the awareness then all the way up to now to delete that shit.
Right, and put it all up in public. All right, guys, I think I appreciate everyone coming here and listening to this. I think this is important. Love you all. Like I said, I think this is great. That we were able to hear all of this. Doctor, I appreciate. Obviously, we're going to talk after this. Guys, check out Dr. Strange's channel. Check out his video on Return of the Jedi comic. He's going to have more stuff coming out, so check that out. He's got some really good content. Support him, and appreciate everyone coming here. So you guys go have a good day. And Doctor, if you want to just stay on here, and guys, I will see you next stream. I don't know what I'm going to do. So
hey, real quick,
shout
out everybody in the chat real quick. C-Spill, Ronnie, my brother, Bruin, my brother. Yo, I agree with where Ronnie's coming from. He definitely understands. And it's not that we're disagreeing with each other. You guys are all correct in a weird way in what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean, is this is not a linear topic. It's not just one way and that's it. It's multi-headed, multi-dimensional, man. But I'm just glad that as diverse as the comments that I'm reading here are, they all hold true in their own weird ways. And I'm glad that we can all agree to different degrees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, cool. Doctor, thank you, everyone in the chat. Appreciate you coming by and listening. And we'll do one of these again. But you guys have a good day. Is there something, I don't know. I don't normally do the weekend stuff. So, but I'll be on some point. I'll see you guys, and everyone have a good day. Be nice to, everyone, do something good for somebody today. And we'll talk later. All right, everyone. Peace.
Love you guys.
Yep.
Peace.